Chapter 1095. Dig out the White Dragon's secret as soon as possible. Find out who his superior is and what his goal is. Don't worry, we're professionals. On the green camouflaged rooftop of the secret base, Lin Muyu flew into the air and waved at Li Xiaoyao. Then I'll go back to accompany my family first. Call me when there's an outcome. Go. Li Xiaoyao looked at the sky coldly. He turned around and walked into the elevator. Although he had learned the ability to fly, he still lived as a normal person. He didn't want the people around him to think of him as a monster. In the interrogation room, the white dragon was tied to a chair. His face was covered in scales and his saliva was flying everywhere. You want to interrogate me? Dream on. I won't say a word even if I die. Why are you so stubborn? Xinglai kicked the table in front of him and pulled out his gun. He pointed it at the white dragon's head and said, "Speak. Where were your mutants created?" Created. The white dragon couldn't help but sneer. They are the servants of the god of death, the holy warriors. They are bestowed to us, not created by you. Just give up, I won't say anything. Just shoot me and give me a quick death. Fu Tu stood up and punched the white dragon's face. His fist hurt. The S-class artificials were really tough. A normal person's fist wouldn't be able to do any damage. Hit me if you want to vent your anger. The white dragon laughed arrogantly. You dogs of the government are all useless. You can spend all your time on me. After all, the killing plan has already begun. None of you can stop it. When that time comes, haha, your government will definitely look into your dereliction of duty. Just wait and see. Kill me, you coward. Fu Tu angrily pulled out his gun and loaded it into the white dragon's mouth. Normal bullets can't kill you, but do you know what will happen if you shoot a nano bullet in your mouth? Ping. The back of your head will explode. Do you want to try? The white dragon struggled quickly. Its face was filled with anger and it did not look like it was going to give in. At this moment, Li Xiaoyao pushed open the door and entered. He frowned and said, "What's wrong? Did you beat the prisoner again?" "Boss." Xinglai and Fu Tu turned around at the same time. Xinglai smiled faintly and said, "There was no beating, just appropriate physical interaction." Li Xiaoyao glanced at Bai Long and smiled. "Bai Long, I know you're the boss of the White Dragon Society, but we've already arrested all of your men and most of them have been sent to the detention center. They'll be tried for all the crimes they've committed in the past and convicted one by one. Why are you still here?" The White Dragon's eyes were cold. "Is that so? So what? They're just some pawns. Their deaths aren't worth pitying. Kill me if you have the guts. There's no way you can get anything out of my mouth." Li Xiaoyao smiled faintly. Xinglai said, "Boss, it seems that we still have to ask Sister Wonner to make a trip. Otherwise it will be difficult to dig out the truth." "There's no need for that. There's a simpler way." Li Xiaoyao reached out and picked up a corgi from the cage next to his feet. He pulled out a gun with his left hand and loaded it. He pointed the muzzle straight at the corgi's head and said, "Are you going to talk or not?" This corgi was the white dragon's beloved dog, his darling. "You win. Let go of my Alinda first. Giving a male dog such a name? You people from the White Dragon Society are really sick." Li Xiaoyao put down the dog and said, "Tell me, who is your boss? How many mutants are there? What are your intentions, plans and goals?" Bai Long gritted his teeth and said, "I don't know much. After the physical examination, I'm not suitable to be bestowed with the title of mutant. So my task is to choose the talents of the White Dragon Society to become mutants. As for the total number of mutants, I don't know. There should be at least 1,000 of them. Besides, I don't know their intentions. I'm just a lowly subordinate, I don't have the authority to know more." "Then, who are they? Who is it?" The white dragon was a bit surprised and said, "I don't know their names. I only know that after you killed the leader of the artificials in Asia, Wang Zaiqing, they sent another person to take over the position. I don't know his name. He's a Vietnamese. I don't know his name. He's cruel and merciless." "Shut up." Li Xiaoyao was a little impatient and said, "Have you seen how to turn ordinary people into mutants?" "I've seen it once. It's a giant machine. No. Strictly speaking, it's not a machine. It's more like some kind of ritual. A ritual that allows people to change their appearance and turn ordinary people into gods. We call it bestowment, and those who have received the ritual will become the servants of the god of death." White Dragon's expression became ferocious and pale as he said, "The servants of the god of death. We are all gods of death and there is nothing we will not do, ha. Can you kill all those mutants? If you, Li Xiaoyao, kill one mutant we can kill 100 soldiers. Can you feel the pain of helplessness?" Li Xiaoyao frowned. He wanted to cut off the dragon's head, but he still remained calm and said, "Who is in charge of this bestowment ceremony?" "I don't know. No one has ever seen their true faces. They are the people of the god of death." White Dragon's eyes became respectful and said, "They are omnipotent. They are the true gods." "Where is this organization?" "We were brought in with our faces covered. We were picked up by a helicopter. The flight distance wasn't too far. It should still be within the range of Shanghai, but no one knows where it is." Picked up by helicopter. Li Xiaoyao was a little surprised. He slowly stood up and lightly knocked the dragon out. He said, "Temporarily lock him up in the base. He might be useful later." "Boss, why did you knock him out? Did you find anything from the interrogation?" "Almost." Li Xiaoyao breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Order the communications department to investigate the low-altitude civil helicopters in Shanghai. Clarify the purpose and ownership of each one. We'll start with the helicopters and see who the mastermind is. Be quick." White Dragon also said that they have a plan. "We must find out as soon as possible." "Yes." Late at night when Lin Muyu returned to the room, Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi were already asleep. The two sisters occupied the whole bed, leaving no space for him. He had no choice but to sleep on the sofa for the night. Perhaps it was because he was too tired he fell asleep in the blink of an eye. However, his spiritual mind remained active. Even in sleep he could still sense Gomong's divine power active around the house. Gomong was an ancient god. He probably slept too much, so he basically didn't sleep much. In addition, there were several rather strong auras of ordinary people. They even carried firearms and wandered around the villa. Needless to say, these people were well trained. They were all arranged by Li Xiaoyao. He had already sent people to protect Lin Muyu's family. He was indeed a conscientious person. The next morning, the warm sun fell on the sofa. It was particularly comfortable on the body. While Lin Muyu was sleeping, he felt a warm and soft body leaning on him. A faint fragrance wafted over. It was Qin Yin's aura. "Big brother, why are you sleeping here? Why didn't you wake me and Xiaoxi up?" she asked with a smile. "You two were sleeping so soundly, so I didn't wake you up." "Oh." Lin Muyu sat up, held Qin Yin's soft hands and asked, "Xiao Yin, are you two happy here?" "Of course we are." Qin Yin looked at him with watery eyes. She said softly, "No matter if Xiaoxi and I are in the Shattered Cauldron realm, the Immortal realm, or the 64 domains, there are always strong enemies eyeing us. Therefore, it's rare for us to have a comfortable sleep. However, it's different here. There aren't any strong opponents and we have Gomong and you to protect us. Therefore we can relax and sleep. I hope we can live like this in the future." "Yes." Tang Xiaoxi knocked on the door. "Wake up. It's time for breakfast." "Okay." After washing up, they went to eat. Lin Yan was looking at his phone, Lin Shun was reading the newspaper, and Tang Xiaoxi was busy serving pumpkin porridge and oatmeal bread to everyone. This made them feel like a family. "Dad, did you two sleep well last night?" "Not bad." Lin Shun looked up at Lin Muyu and said, "Xiaoji, let's talk after breakfast." After breakfast, Lin Shun lit a cigarette and said, "Let's go take a walk on the balcony." "Okay." Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi went to wash the dishes. Lin Yan looked at them in surprise. He knew that his father might reprimand his second brother, so he smiled gloatingly and went to play mobile games. On the balcony, the autumn wind in the early morning rolled the fallen leaves on the wooden floor. Lin Shun walked all the way to the edge of the huge balcony with Lin Muyu. He handed the newspaper in his hand behind him and said, "Look at this headline yourself." Lin Muyu took the newspaper and couldn't help but feel shocked. The headline was, "With the help of the mysterious man, the Special Forces wiped out the gang White Dragon Society overnight." And the accompanying picture was the scene of White Dragon and a group of White Dragon Society members squatting in an abandoned factory. Among them, Lin Muyu was holding the dazzling Shen Yuan sword in his hand at that time. Who took this? This is an aerial photo taken by a reporter with his own aircraft. You didn't notice it, did you? What kind of reporter is this? Lin Muyu gnashed his teeth. Isn't he afraid of threatening the safety of the family members of the Special Forces by publishing this kind of photo? Humph, those reporters only care about exposing more eye-catching things. Do they care about the life and death of others? Dad, I'm sorry. Lin Muyu slowly put away the newspaper. Lin Shun sat on the edge of the balcony and took a drag on his cigarette. He said, "Son, sit with me for a while." Lin Muyu put the newspaper under his butt. This pair of trousers was expensive and he couldn't spend it in vain. "I know you've grown up and experienced a lot of things I don't know. Maybe I'm just a burden to you now, but..." Lin Shun looked a little depressed and said, "I may not be able to protect you anymore, but..." Chapter 1096. No, Dad, don't think like that. I'll always be your son and that won't change. Lin Muyu hurriedly said, but he felt that these words were very weak. Lin Shun smiled and said, "Your mother left early, otherwise, if she could see your achievements today, it would be such a good thing. Dad is useless. Otherwise you wouldn't have suddenly disappeared 4 years ago." "That's not your fault, Dad. I didn't take good care of my son. That's the responsibility of a father." Lin Shun took another drag of his cigarette and said, "I really hope that nothing happened 4 years ago, that you're still an ordinary person, and that you don't have to be pushed into the limelight like you are now." "Dad, I'm really fine, you don't have to worry." Lin Shun nodded and said, "I just hope that this family can be safe and stable." "That's good enough." Lin Muyu's eyes turned red. I will definitely protect this family." And Lin Shun seemed a little tired, gently rubbing the cigarette butt on the fallen leaves and said, "No matter how far you fly in the future, how high you fly, this will always be your home, your family. Remember to come back." "I know, Dad, I'm just doing something that's within my ability. Don't worry about my safety." "Yes," Lin Shun suddenly smiled. "Xiaoji, do you think that Dad is a little too long-winded after getting old?" "No, you and your brother both have the same tone. Forget it, it doesn't matter, Dad raised you too, it's only right that I'm long-winded." "Oh, speaking of this, I remembered something." "What is it?" "Last time, Brother mentioned to me that there's an administrative deputy director in Dad's company, Auntie Wang Yi. She seems to have the same feeling as Dad. Dad, you've been alone for so many years, why don't you develop a relationship? Anyway, Brother and I support you." Lin Shun was stunned and couldn't help but blush. "Brat, what nonsense are you talking about? Your brother is too much. He's so young, but he's always concerned about these trivial things. Dad, you must be the one to speak first. If you don't speak first, how can Auntie Wang speak first? This kind of thing should be taken by the man." "Brat, you've already started to teach your father." There's no such thing. It's just a matter of fact. How about my brother and I make the decision and invite Auntie Wang over for dinner? Shall we order a table of delicious food from the hotel and send it over? You don't have to worry about me." Lin Shun stood up as if he didn't want to talk about this anymore. However, no one knows a father better than a son. Naturally, Lin Muyu knew that Lin Shun didn't object so fiercely, which meant that he was actually a little shaken in his heart, so she said, "Then it's settled. Leave this matter to me and Brother. Brother will pull the strings and I'll order a meal this weekend. It's settled." Without waiting for Lin Shun to refute, Lin Muyu stepped forward, and with a flash of golden light she was already in the living room. Lin Shun stood on the balcony a little stunned. He had witnessed his son's ability time and time again. Perhaps he really was no longer that silly boy who always sat on his knees. One day later. Beep beep. The phone rang hastily. It was Li Xiaoyao's call. Lin Muyu's new number didn't have many people added, except for her family and Li Xiaoyao. "Xiaoyao, there's progress? I lost 2 people." Li Xiaoyao's voice was a little low, and even Lin Muyu could hear the anger contained in it. "What happened? Tell me in detail." Li Xiaoyao said, "The organization behind the mutants used helicopters to transport the mutant candidates to some kind of ceremony. I used this clue to select a suspicious target, and finally locked onto a listed company called Levi Group. They mainly sell shipbuilding equipment and provide the necessary materials for the nearby shipyards. Levi Group has 3 helicopters and was approved to fly freely within the factory area. Just yesterday I sent 2 Special Forces members to sneak in, but this morning they were found dead on the road outside the factory area. There were no injuries on their bodies, but their cervical vertebrae were crushed." "So this Levi Group is fishy?" "Yes, there must be a problem. I sent someone to check the company's accounts and found that this company is completely an empty shell. The amount of equipment sold to the outside is pitiful, and the turnover in 3 years is not more than 10 million. This is not enough to pay the workers' wages and taxes, so there must be a problem with this group. Don't send people to investigate anymore. If there really is a problem, sending ordinary people is just sending them to their deaths. Li Xiaoyao said, "Yes, I think so too, so I plan to go myself." Wait. Lin Muyu asked, "What do you mean by the ceremony?" It's a ceremony to turn ordinary people into mutants. They can give ordinary people extraordinary power through a ceremony, and their power is not even below mine. Is that so? Lin Muyu frowned. Xiaoyao, you have already alerted the enemy. Don't act rashly. They should have already noticed. Once you go, you may be a sheep walking into a tiger's mouth. Give me some time, I need to go check. Okay, let me know immediately if there is any news. I'll wait for your news. Did something happen? Qin Yin asked with concern. Yes. Lin Muyu stood up from the sofa, patted Qin Yin's shoulder lightly and said, I need to use the oracle technique to contact Xiao and Demon Emperor in the divine realm and ask some questions. Xiao Yin, guard me outside the room, don't let anyone disturb me. Okay, don't worry. Telekinesis oracle was no longer a difficult thing for Lin Muyu. In fact, it could be said to be very easy. As a 95th level Grotto Heaven God Emperor, activating telekinesis shuttle did not consume much divine power at all. Whoosh. An invisible energy soared into the sky, penetrated the atmosphere and pointed straight to the outside of the universe. This energy even affected the surrounding magnetic field, causing the coastal defense station at the border of Shanghai to be in chaos. The staff were all making a fuss. The magnetic field was so chaotic that it made everyone feel as if aliens had descended on Earth. In the divine realm, the illusory pool rippled, and a beam of light descended from the sky, condensing into Lin Muyu's figure. The 7 luminaries Demon Emperor Xiao, Sun Feng and the others were drinking tea and they were shocked. You, what's wrong? Xiao asked. Lin Muyu said, there's something I want to ask you guys. Say it, we know everything, the 7 luminaries Demon Emperor said arrogantly. Lin Muyu could not help but laugh. Don't brag too much. If you don't know anything, then you can be the boss of East Heaven for a year. You'll tell me about it first. Lin Muyu said, I am currently on Earth and some people called mutants have appeared here. They can control the domain of death, and their strength is between the holy heaven realm and the divine realm. Here, this is what they look like. As she spoke, Lin Muyu activated her divine power and condensed a scene of her fighting with the mutants. Even the Demon Emperor Xiao and the others could feel the fierce storm of battle. Isn't this the Southern Divine Realm's Deadpool? The Demon Emperor was slightly surprised. Deadpool? Lin Muyu was also stunned. If this matter was related to the Southern Divine Realm, it would be even more troublesome. Xiao nodded and said, the Divine Realm is ruled by 4 major realms. The East Heaven studies the ancient Eastern Divine Arts, the Western Divine Realm studies the angels, the Northern Divine Realm studies the law of ice, and the Southern Divine Realm studies the law of chaos. The Southern Divine Realm has never been completely unified, and has fallen into a chaotic situation of several major forces fighting each other. The gods of the Southern Divine Realm cultivate the law of chaos, and their understanding of death is far better than ours. Therefore, they have a kind of ceremony that can fully stimulate the destructive potential of mortals, turning them into Deadpool and forming an army to attack each other. If we can mass-produce Deadpool, won't the Southern Divine Realm be invincible? Lin Muyu gritted her teeth. No, the power of a Deadpool will evaporate within a year. In other words, those who become Deadpool through the ceremony can't live more than a year. They're just tools. The 7 luminaries Demon Emperor said, since the Deadpool has appeared on Earth, it means that the gods of the Southern Divine Realm have already intervened in the star regions under the control of our East Heaven. This is a very dangerous signal. Lin Muyu said, if that's the case, I'm afraid I really won't be able to leave Earth for a while. Not necessarily. Xiao smiled and said, Sun Feng is in charge of the safety of hundreds of star regions including Earth. If a large number of gods from the Southern Divine Realm enter Earth, Sun Feng should be able to sense it. Sun Feng, did you sense it? Sun Feng frowned and shook his head. No, I did sense it during the war with the Western Divine Realm, but Only a very small number of gods entered the territory of the Eastern Divine Realm. At that time I thought they were some wandering gods, so I didn't think much about it. I didn't expect them to take root on Earth. The 7 luminaries Demon Emperor said, Sun Feng, this is your fault for dereliction of duty. If anything happens to Yu's family, you will be removed from your position as marshal. Sun Feng cupped his fists. Demon Emperor, don't worry, this is subordinate's duty. If any losses are really caused, subordinate will take his own life. There is no need for Demon Emperor to worry. The 7 luminaries Demon Emperor smiled. Do you need us to help you with anything? Or, I can go to Earth myself. I haven't fought for a long time anyway, I'm itching. Lin Muyu hurriedly shook her head. No, nothing good will come out of your visit. I'm just confirming. Since it's confirmed that it's a god from the Southern Divine Realm, there's no problem. I can solve the matter of Earth myself. All right, then I wish you a pleasant vacation. Right, goodbye. Help me take care of Shattered Cauldron World. Don't worry. After withdrawing her telekinesis, Lin Muyu let out a light sigh. Qin Yin also pushed open the door and entered, asking, Are you all right? I'm fine, it might just be 1 or 2 fish that escaped the net causing trouble. But it is indeed troublesome. My spirit vein technique can't capture the power of death, and I don't know where the enemy is. In that case, stay the same and deal with all changes. Don't lose your composure. Lin Muyu took out her phone and dialed Li Xiaoyao's number. Xiaoyao, don't be in a hurry to act. The enemy might be stronger than you, so I will personally investigate. Li Xiaoyao was stunned for a moment, then said, All right, but I will still go with you. Let me see how strong the real enemy is. Chapter 1097. As night fell, Shanghai, which was known as the capital of Shanghai, was brightly lit at night with bright neon lights. On the street outside the secret base of the Special Ops, 2 young men in black windbreakers stood at the bus stop and looked at each other. Do we really have to take the bus? Lin Muyu asked. Yeah. Li Xiaoyao nodded. The bus from here is even less conspicuous. The Levi group is quite remote and there are no subway lines, so we can only take the bus. Lin Muyu touched his nose and said, Then why don't we fly over? Li Xiaoyao was startled. I didn't think of that, but it's too late now. We can't fly. Look, there are 2 girls staring at us and taking pictures with their phones. If we fly like this, it'll be the headlines tomorrow. Lin Muyu was speechless. At this time, an old-fashioned bus swayed over. He couldn't help but be even more surprised. Is this the only bus near the base? Yes, the base is also remote. There's only this one here, every 30 minutes. Then what are we waiting for? Get on. Wait, did you bring coins? I thought you brought. Sir, wait, can I wait for change if I put in a 10 yuan bill? The old driver looked at the 2 well-dressed guys with disdain. Lin Muyu quickly got on the bus and sat down by the window while Li Xiaoyao sat opposite. The 2 of them followed the bus into another darkness. Half an hour later, at another bus stop. Why do I feel like we're sitting in the wrong direction? Lin Muyu's face was solemn. Li Xiaoyao's expression was even more solemn. Damn, I think so too. Just now I didn't even get a cent back from the 10 yuan I spent. I'm so angry. Tisk, you're the number 1 on the B list. Do you still lack that money? Who said I don't need it? Do you understand, MA civil servants? We have to live frugally and respond to D's call. Are we taking this bus? Is it in the direction of the Levi group? I don't know, no time to explain, get on. Okay. An hour later at a bus stop. I think we should take a taxi. Otherwise we won't be able to reach Levi tomorrow. Li Xiaoyao's expression was unprecedentedly solemn. Didn't you say that you're very familiar with Shanghai's bus routes? Why do we feel like we're getting further and further away? Why don't we fly there? Wait. Li Xiaoyao pressed his shoulder and said, Don't be impulsive. There are so many onlookers around. Once someone sees through us, we're done for. You can leave, but I still have to live in this world. Around them, a group of men and women of all kinds were staring at Lin Muyu and Li Xiaoyao, especially a few of the girls whose eyes were almost glowing green. It was already rare to see such handsome guys, but there were 2 of them at the same time. If their boyfriends were not by their side, they would not be able to help themselves from pouncing on them. In the end, the 2 of them took a taxi and went straight to the Levi group under the cover of the night. The driver stopped far away according to the 2's instructions. In the darkness, the Levi group's factory was glowing with a faint light. It seemed that no one was on duty at night. Are we just going to swagger over like this? Lin Muyu asked. No, we have to disguise ourselves, otherwise it would be too careless. Li Xiaoyao took out his change and took 2 bottles of beer from the canteen on the side. With a light flick of his fingers, he opened one of the bottles and handed one to Lin Muyu and said, We'll pretend to be drunk hooligans and walk over. First, make sure whether there are guards in the factory before we act, and also make sure whether there are any surveillance cameras. Lin Muyu took the beer and took a sip, saying, Why bother? There's only one person in this factory and he fell asleep in the duty room. He's about 50 years old and his body is not good. Lumbar disc herniation. Damn, how did you know? This is the innate ability of God, you just didn't practice it well. A few minutes later, the 2 of them stood in front of the electronic control door. Through the window they could see a middle-aged man lying on a chair asleep, just as Lin Muyu said. Li Xiaoyao was a little stunned and gave Lin Muyu a thumbs up, then said in a low voice, You wait here, I'll go in and knock him out, then we can go in and investigate the case with great fanfare. No need, he's sleeping like a log. It's fine even if we just swagger in like this. Really? Why would I lie to you? With that said, Lin Muyu jumped nearly 10 meters and directly entered the factory. Li Xiaoyao took a deep breath and jumped as well, his body as light as a swallow as he floated down. Not only did his cultivation improve, but it was also improved by leaps and bounds, far better than before. If the old man saw this, he would definitely worship him as his master. In the night, the 2 of them quietly entered the garden in the factory. In the distance they saw several helicopters quietly parked upstairs, unguarded. Strange. Li Xiaoyao frowned and said, The security is so lax, what if someone comes to steal the helicopters and they don't even know? First of all, you need to know how to fly a helicopter. Can you do it? Of course, I am the king of special operations. Then do we steal it or not? Wait, let me think, Ba, are we here to steal a plane? Oh, I almost forgot. Search this company's office one by one and find the place where the legendary ritual is used to transform mutants. Okay. The 2 of them didn't need to pry open the door, they just broke the void and entered the company, while Lin Muyu slowly spread out her domain power, destroying all the electronic equipment. At least those surveillance cameras were completely useless. Fortunately, there were not many office areas in Levi's company, so it didn't take much time to get there. Something seems wrong. Lin Muyu frowned and said, Did you notice that there is no equipment in these offices, not even desks, they are basically empty? What does this mean? This is just a shell company, it's definitely not simple. That's right, but where is their secret hidden? We have almost searched the office areas of all 3 buildings. No, there is still one place we haven't searched, the underground garage. Let's go down and take a look. 2 consecutive flashes of light flashed past, and Lin Muyu appeared in the garage on the 2nd floor of the basement. Li Xiaoyao, on the other hand, crashed into the wall in front of him after he teleported out. His understanding of the 4-dimensional space was still immature. But Lin Muyu grabbed onto his leg so that he wouldn't be bruised and battered from the impact. Why did you take it so hard? F***ck. Li Xiaoyao stopped, raised his hand to pull out the butterfly sword behind him, and looked around with a stern gaze. What's going on? There is not a single car, it is empty. Looks like this garage doesn't have what we are looking for. Not necessarily. Lin Muyu squinted at the wall in front of her and said, Don't you feel that there is energy behind this wall? Is that so? Li Xiaoyao raised his eyebrows and said, To tell you the truth, I don't feel it at all. Forget it, your control of aura is still lacking, come with me. Don't you want to smash the wall? What else? If I destroy other people's property, my salary will be deducted. How petty. Blame it on me. Lin Muyu opened her fingers lightly and the golden light spun rapidly. Suddenly the whole wall seemed to distort and instantly collapsed. Light came out from inside, it was a secret room. Lin Muyu floated in, her feet not touching the ground and her eyes swept around. She was shocked to find that the place was densely packed with 2-meter-tall glass containers, and the objects inside the containers were even scarier, they were all corpses. Li Xiaoyao walked in with his sword in hand and took a deep breath. **ck, there really is a conspiracy. So many people have disappeared in the past few months and they are all here. This Levi company is really crazy. These people, they should all be mutants, right? Lin Muyu slowly moved forward and said, Xiaoyao, you better be careful, these mutants can wake up at any time. Li Xiaoyao was slightly surprised. Didn't you tell me before that there is only one person guarding the door in the entire factory? There is only one person, but it might not be a dead person. Lin Muyu said, these mutants' bodies are actually already dead. Their bodies are filled with the aura of the law of death. Ordinary people can't bear it at all, so I can't feel their aura. You can't blame me for this. I don't blame you, but I feel like you are trying to push the blame. *CK, this is our first time working together. We need to have a tacit understanding. Don't doubt each other like this. Check carefully, move lightly, don't wake these mutants, or we won't be able to leave even if we want to. Li Xiaoyao held the butterfly and flew slowly at a low altitude, his eyes cold as he looked for the so-called ritual. At this time, a cold voice suddenly came from the end of the laboratory. Li Xiaoyao, you the strongest guardian are finally here? Li Xiaoyao's eyes were cold as he pointed the butterfly sword in his hand forward and shouted, come out. A figure slowly walked out from the darkness. It was a man in a black robe around 60 years old with mottled eyebrows and beard, but his eyes were full of hostility. He smiled and said, it's rare that you can find this place today. The two scapegoats from yesterday must have informed you. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Sykes. Li Xiaoyao was shocked. What else? Who's Sykes? Lin Muyu asked. A notorious villain, an asshole who deserves to be shot 10,000 times, said Li Xiaoyao. Sykes looked at Lin Muyu and said with a smile, yo, you have a helper and a divine venerable realm expert no less. How interesting, but what can you do? You must die here this time, not even the gods can save you. Lin Muyu hadn't fully released her aura, so the other party mistook her for a divine venerable realm expert. On the other hand, Li Xiaoyao was able to see through this Sykes as if he was looking at a blazing fire. His body had been tempered by divine power and did not belong to this plane at all. His great aura art had 32 layers of divine waves, and he was an expert in the divine king realm. Without a doubt, this Sykes was the instigator of the southern divine realm's intervention in Earth's plane. Clang clang clang. Sykes slowly tapped the glass container with his iron staff and said with a sinister smile, wake up, my sons. Kill the enemy in front of you and clear the obstacles for your brothers. Li Xiaoyao, I let you escape last time, but this time I'd like to see how you're going to escape from me. Lin Muyu couldn't help but frown and ask, have you met him before, Xiaoyao? Li Xiaoyao's eyes were serious. Be careful, Linji. This man is very strong, very strong. At least I can't beat him. Chapter 1098. Bang bang bang. The glass containers shattered one by one and the mutants inside all walked out naked. They looked at Lin Muyu and Li Xiaoyao with ferocious eyes. Black air currents filled the entire secret room, making it seem like a purgatory of death. The people of the southern divine realm cultivated chaotic energy, so they were extraordinarily violent. Lin Muyu said calmly, Xiaoyao, can you last 20 seconds against these mutants? I only need 20 seconds to take care of this, Sykes. 20 seconds is doable, but you must be careful. This person's secret arts are very crafty. Sykes couldn't help but laugh loudly. Kill me in 20 seconds? You're not a lunatic, are you? How can a mere cultivator from Earth be so arrogant? You'll know soon enough. Lin Muyu opened her palm and moved it slowly. She immediately pulled out a dazzling divine sword from the void. It was the Xianyuan sword. She didn't say anything else. Her figure flashed, and the long sword carried the power of the formless elephant art slammed toward her opponent's head. Sykes didn't dare to be careless at this moment. The strength that Lin Muyu had displayed had already made Sykes feel a deep sense of despair. This was an absolute disparity in strength, and it was a strength that he had no chance of turning defeat into victory. Chaos of all life. Clang. With a crisp sound, the metal staff in Sykes's hand was instantly cut off by the divine sword. What was cut off was not only the metal staff, but also the dark tentacles that Sykes had condensed. These tentacles were sinister and crafty. Previously, Li Xiaoyao felt helpless against them, but now when they came into contact with Lin Muyu's blade, they instantly turned into clouds and evaporated. Who are you? Sykes continuously retreated, waving the broken staff in each hand randomly, stirring up streams of black cyclones. Lin Muyu stepped forward and said indifferently, this plane belongs to the East Heaven. Aren't you people of the Southern Divine Realm stretching your hands too far? You're from the god world? What do you think? Lin Muyu opened her palm, and the 7 luminaries' immortal gourd's power surged wildly. Gourd vines of light instantly bound Sykes, and he didn't even have the chance to break through the void to escape. The surrounding space was completely sealed by Lin Muyu's invisible domain, and no one could break through the spatial wall. Ping honestly punched Sykes in the face, knocking him out. Lin Muyu dragged Li Xiaoyao with one hand and charged back with the sword in the other. However, she saw that Li Xiaoyao's swordsmanship was not messed up under the siege of dozens of mutants. Waves of flames flew out along with the sword chi, forcing the group of mutants to be unable to get close to him. There were even 7 or 8 mutants who died under his sword. Immediately Lin Muyu was shocked. If Li Xiaoyao was also at the 95th level of Grotto Heaven, how strong would he be? It was simply unimaginable. Xiaoyao, take him away. Lin Muyu threw Sykes' body in the air, and a whirlwind followed, blowing away a group of mutants. Li Xiaoyao hurriedly caught Sykes and his eyes were filled with shock. What do? We can't leave? No, we can. Lin Muyu raised her palm and a crack appeared in front of her. She said, take the culprit and leave first. Wait for me in the sky. There are too many mutants here and I'm going to kill them all. Li Xiaoyao was shocked. He immediately entered the spatial rift, but he was still puzzled. There were at least 200 mutants in this secret room. Could Lin Muyu really kill them all by herself? As soon as Li Xiaoyao left, Lin Muyu no longer had any worries. The mutants roared as they charged at him from all directions. He laughed out loud. Come on, come on. Although you guys are innocent, I can't let you leave alive to harm others. Rays of golden light covered his body, and the immortal golden body blocked the attacks of the mutants. Lin Muyu pointed the Shenyuan sword to the sky and he shouted, 7 glorious stars, transformation. The heavens and earth lost their color, and the sky that was originally filled with stars was suddenly filled with dark clouds. In the next moment, beams of starlight descended from the sky, landing densely on the area with Lin Muyu at the center. The starlight easily destroyed the helicopters on the ground, penetrated through the floors and killed the mutants underground one by one. 100 meters away, Li Xiaoyao was dumbfounded. Was this still the power of a human? No wonder Lin Muyu never boasted as if he was just making a draft. Who knew how much power this fellow had hidden up his sleeves? The meteor crashed into the ground, causing a series of shockwaves to ripple out in all directions. Amidst the thick smoke, one could already see the mutants jumping up and down as they tried to escape, but it was impossible for them to escape death. The meteor crashed deeper and deeper into the earth, cutting through the crust to reach the depths of the earth. The powerful destructive power was shocking. Li Xiaoyao felt a chill in his heart and he couldn't help but shout, Linji, stop, the earth can't withstand such power. Stop or it will cause a catastrophe. Lin Muyu hurriedly stopped, and the stars in the sky disappeared in the blink of an eye. He was also secretly shocked. He had almost forgotten that the earth's crust structure was different from the Shattered Cauldron realm, the Immortal realm and the 64 domains. In comparison, the earth's structure was more fragile, and the 7 glorious stars' transformation's godly power entering the earth's core might cause the continent to collapse. When that time came, not only did he not save the earth, he would harm it, and that would be a great sin. He couldn't help but feel afraid. At this moment, Lin Muyu understood that the people of the Immortal realm were not exaggerating when they said that Xian could destroy a few planes. Directly pouring most of the godly power into the earth's core could indeed destroy a planet. She had this ability, so did Xian. Thank you for the reminder, Xiaoyao. He looked up at Li Xiaoyao in the distance. Li Xiaoyao looked at the entire building that had turned into a deep pit and he was shocked. He said, let's go, we should go back. We didn't find the ritual site, but capturing Sykes is also a reward. Here, there will be local governments to deal with the aftermath. We don't have to worry about it. Okay. Late at night, the secret base was brightly lit. Sykes finally woke up, but he found that his arm was locked upside down, and there was a heart-wrenching pain coming from his wrist. He couldn't use any of the godly power in his body. Scoundrel! He sat in the chair and immediately scolded, what did you do to me? What despicable method did you use to steal my godly power? Lin Muyu frowned and said, Demon Heart Stone, have you heard of it? Celestial Pole Continent's Demon Heart Stone. That's right, it's the nemesis of God, so you don't have to think about breaking out of prison or anything. just obediently accept the interrogation. As she spoke, Lin Muyu stood up, took the coffee from Shen Lin and smiled very gentlemanly. I'm about to fall in love with the coffee here. Shen Lin, who was dressed like a policewoman, asked with a smile. Then will you fall in love with the people here? Li Xiaoyao coughed. Don't hit on our VIP, you can add him on WeChat to chat privately. Lin Muyu smiled. I just fall in love with coffee. After the interrogation for a long time, Sykes was still unwilling to confess anything, and his attitude was still very disdainful, as if he didn't care about this group of mortals at all. Boss, the district government sent us a document. Shen Lin walked over with a fax in her hand and said, they reprimanded us for making such a big move, almost turning the entire factory into ruins. What do you think? Li Xiaoyao glanced at the content and couldn't help but sneer. They still have the face to reprimand us? Fu Tu, who was at the side, grinned and said, Levi is not a small company, it's impossible for the company to not be found out after several inspections a year, but the government personnel in charge of the inspection didn't find anything. The district government didn't take action against this kind of illegal company, it must have reached a dirty... Stop. Li Xiaoyao interrupted him and said, what's the use of saying this, we should think about how to solve the problem now. Lin Muyu said, Xiaoyao, I have something to say. Say it. Right now the first thing to think about isn't how to solve Levi's problem, but rather how to protect your family. Wan Er and Dongqing, do you have anyone to protect them? You're worried. That's right, they might take revenge on us. From Sykes's tone, it seems like he's not the only one in this organization. Wan Er and the others have 3 special forces members to protect them, it shouldn't be a problem, right? I'm afraid that won't be enough. Lin Muyu furrowed her eyebrows and said, the opponent's strength is not something that firearms can deal with. Where did you arrange for Wan Er and Dongqing to stay? In a nearby 5-star hotel. Let them stay in the base, it's a bit safer that way. Lin Muyu thought about it and said, tonight I'll stay here and not leave, I'm worried that something might happen. Immediately go get Wan Er and Dongqing, other than that, I'll arrange for someone to protect you guys tomorrow. Thank you, brother. No need to be so polite, we're already friends. Okay. An hour later, Li Xiaoyao brought Wan Er and Dongqing back to the base, where they stayed in the guest rooms. Lin Muyu kept his promise and didn't leave for the entire night. At 2 or 3 in the morning the weather was getting colder and colder. On the conical roof of the base, Lin Muyu hugged his long sword and sat there, gazing into the darkness in the distance, thinking about distant things. Sha sha. Behind him the sound of footsteps could be heard. Without even thinking he knew who it was. Other than Li Xiaoyao, no one else would have the ability to climb up the stairs without making a sound. How does this feel? Li Xiaoyao asked. What kind of feeling are you referring to? The feeling of watching over them alone. I can't say. Lin Muyu nodded and looked at the tiles under his feet. He reached out his hand and touched it, it was covered with a layer of cold dew. He smiled and said, but for the people I care about, watching over them like this is also a kind of happiness. Li Xiaoyao smiled. What are you smiling about? I also have this feeling. Li Xiaoyao let out a breath and said, all these years I've seen many mysterious and powerful opponents. In order to protect the people I care about, I've also stayed up all night like this. I've been on the verge of death time and time again, but I never thought that I would become the one being protected, and the one protecting me is the missing person that I've been searching for so many years. Chapter 1099. The next morning Lin Muyu did not close her eyes. She only relaxed when Gomong appeared on the protruding roof of the secret base. Leader, your subordinate is here. Gomong knelt on one knee and saluted. Li Xiaoyao looked at this guy with bird feathers in surprise. He did not feel that Gomong was very powerful the last time he saw him. This time he could feel Gomong's majestic divine power. Xiaoyao, he will stay in the base to help you protect your family until we solve the problem. Li Xiaoyao said, what about your family? Uncle Lin Shun and Lin Yan are just ordinary people. Once they are targeted, I'm afraid that the special forces of the Guardian team will not be able to protect them. It's okay. There is Xiao Yin and Xiao Shi to protect them. There will be no problem. You mean Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi? Are they very powerful? Li Xiaoyao asked. Lin Muyu smiled. Both of them are at the level of a Lord God. They are just too young and need more experience. But don't worry, they are strong enough to protect anyone on Earth. That's good. I will investigate as soon as possible and find out their real intentions. I will go back and wait for your news. Be careful. Okay. When Li Xiaoyao looked up again, Lin Muyu had already turned into a bolt of lightning and disappeared. The speed at which she traveled through the dimensions was not an ordinary speed. Li Xiaoyao was secretly shocked. He smiled and said, "She runs really fast. He should be home by now." Gomong said, "With your cultivation you can break through the void and travel 50 miles. It should be enough to reach home." Li Xiaoyao nodded. "Senior Gomong, let's go. Let's enter the base. I will arrange a room for you." "No need." Gomong shook his head and smiled. "I was born in the world, accompanied by flowers and birds and in the forest. So I'm absolutely unwilling to live in a room. Wouldn't that cut off my communication with the living beings of the world? You can't be in the house every day, right? No, I think the forest over there is not bad. I can rest there." "Over there is a well-landscaped public toilet," Gomong muttered. "I really didn't expect." Pa pa pa. In a flash of lightning, Lin Muyu flew straight into the living room. Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi were busy making breakfast, but Lin Yan walked out of the room with disheveled hair. "Xiaoxi, you're back. You haven't returned for the whole night, and Xiao Yin and Xiaoxi have been waiting for you." "Ah." Lin Muyu scolded them. "Why didn't you two sleep? You didn't have to wait for me." Qin Yin smiled sweetly. "There's no need. With Xiaoxi's and my cultivation, we'll be full of energy even if we don't sleep for 10 days. Sleeping is just a habit, it's not necessary." "No matter what, you're right." Lin Muyu stretched lazily. "I'm going to lie on the sofa for a while. Come here and massage my legs." Tang Xiaoxi took the milk bottle from Qin Yin's hand. "I knew it. You must have been the one who activated the power of the stars last night. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been such a big commotion. What's wrong? Do you still suffer from the backlash of using the 7 glorious stars with your cultivation?" "It's not really a backlash. I'm just a little tired." Lin Muyu lay on the sofa and propped her legs on the coffee table. Qin Yin wore a beige windbreaker and a coffee-colored checkered scarf. She sat down gracefully. She exuded a fresh and elegant aura. She reached out and massaged the acupuncture points and muscles on Lin Muyu's legs. "Brother, did you find anything?" "No." Lin Muyu shook her head. "I caught a leader. I can confirm that he's from the Western Divine Realm. However, I don't have the ability to read minds. So, I don't know if there's someone above him. If there is, it's most likely someone with the cultivation of a god emperor." Qin Yin pursed her red lips. "If you need me and Xiaoxi's help, just let us know. We're very free anyway." "And I will." At this time, a wave of tiredness rushed to her head. Lin Muyu unknowingly fell asleep. Perhaps it was because Qin Yin's small hands were too comfortable. They didn't sleep for long before they were woken up by Lin Shun. The Lin family's rules were that they had to sleep at night and couldn't doze off during the day. Furthermore, they had to eat breakfast. Even after so many years, Lin Shun still demanded this of his 2 sons. However, his 2 sons were gaming maniacs, so Lin Shun always suffered from this. "Hurry up and eat. After eating, follow me to the company. Today is the day we sign the contract with Destiny Corporation. Ouyang Nu Yen is here. And as well as a few major shareholders of Destiny Corporation. There will be a press conference today, which will be held in the company's largest conference room." "Oh, okay. But I was exposed in the newspaper yesterday. It wouldn't be good for me to appear today. I'll be easily recognized." "You can wear sunglasses." Lin Yan waved his hand and smiled. "I happen to have a few famous sunglasses. I can let you choose first." Lin Muyu couldn't help but laugh. "Brother, you're becoming more and more hedonistic. Hurry up and eat. Don't talk while eating, don't you understand?" Lin Shun raised his voice. Immediately, Lin Yan and Lin Muyu lowered their heads and ate, not daring to speak. Meanwhile, Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi smiled and stuck out their tongues. The family rules were too strict. It was fine to just look at the new daughter-in-law. At least, Lin Shun hadn't gotten angry at his son's 2 girlfriends, and he most likely wouldn't. Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi were gentle, virtuous, beautiful and generous. Lin Shun couldn't wait to like these 2 daughters-in-law, so how could he bear to scold them? In the morning, 2 cars went straight to Long Xan Corporation. After arriving at the company, Lin Muyu didn't wear sunglasses. She just hid behind the crowd with the 2 girls and watched the show. The signing went smoothly. Both parties had already drafted the agreement. Then it was time for the press conference. Destiny Corporation was the world's most popular gaming company. With the addition of Long Xaim Corporation, it was naturally a powerful alliance that attracted a lot of attention. Many reporters from the gaming industry came to interview them. After the interview, Lin Muyu originally planned to slip away. However, she didn't expect Lin Yan to shout from afar, "Xiaoji, this beautiful reporter wants to interview you one-on-one. I really couldn't reject her, so I brought her here to see you." As he said that, Lin Ji secretly made a C gesture to his brother, followed by an OK gesture. Needless to say, this girl was a C cup. If he liked her, he could have her. The success rate was very high. Lin Muyu wanted to die. She originally wanted to keep a low profile, but how could she keep a low profile now? The beautiful reporter rushed over with her cameraman, as if she was interviewing a superstar. "Linji, you're finally back. Can you accept my interview? Let's go to my office. There are too many people here," Lin Muyu said. "Okay, thank you." In Lin Muyu's private office, Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi were looking at clothes on a tablet on the sofa, while Lin Muyu was sitting in front of the beautiful reporter. "Okay." The beautiful reporter was very professional. She smiled and said, "Let me introduce myself first. I'm Fei Air, the contracted host of ZGTV. Ever since you disappeared, many fans have been asking about your whereabouts. The whereabouts of the former martial god Lin Muyu has become a mystery. Can you briefly tell us where you've been these past few years?" Lin Muyu thought for a moment and said, "I had to help my father manage the company. As a training experience, I went to America and worked in a company there to train myself. Because I wanted some peace and quiet, I left in a hurry. So much so that everyone had the illusion that I suddenly disappeared." "Oh, I see. Now that you're back, will you enter the game again and become the master of another game?" "Probably not, but I'll play when I'm free." "I see." Fei Air smiled and turned her gaze to the two beauties, Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi. She suddenly opened her mouth and said, "Wow, that beauty in the light blue coat looks familiar. Is that so?" Lin Muyu curled her lips. "Maybe it's also an illusion." "No, it's not an illusion." Fei Air said, "Ling Yan, take a look as well. Don't you think that beauty looks like the princess that appeared in Lanyan City 3 years ago in Conquer?" Lin Yan thought carefully and said, "She really does look like her." Lin Muyu was afraid that things would get even more exaggerated and hurriedly said, "Maybe it's just a little similar." Fei Air pursed her lips and said, "I'm starting to suspect that the NPCs in Conquer are based on each other. That NPC princess is the princess of Seven Seas City, and her name is Tang Xiaoxi. What about this little girl?" Lin Yan was dumbfounded. Even though he played Conquer, he spent most of his time killing monsters and didn't go to the palace to interact with the NPCs. He didn't even know that there was such an NPC. Fei Air's words were very strange because Tang Xiaoxi's name was also Tang Xiaoxi. Lin Muyu cursed inwardly and said, Her name is Yen Xiaodong." Qin Yin, who was drinking her coke, spat it out. Tang Xiaoxi, on the other hand, glanced at Lin Muyu bitterly but did not say anything. They knew that they should try to keep a low profile. Some things were better left unanswered. Lin Muyu repeatedly glared at Lin Yan, signaling him to stop talking. Fortunately, Lin Yan was a smart person and immediately shut his mouth. Fei Air blinked and continued with a smile. "Actually, I'm very familiar with all the major games and I play all of them for work. I heard that in the later stages of Conquer, an NPC named Lin Muyu was created to commemorate you. She's the commander of a large army in the game's main city. I can't remember what army it's called." Lin Yan said, "Longdan Army Camp." "Oh right, it's called Longdan Army Camp." Lin Muyu's thoughts were a little chaotic. The game mainframe of Conquer was the Celestial Emperor system, and the Celestial Emperor was really dedicated to his duties to automatically update himself into the game. Needless to say, the current version was definitely a continental war between the Shattered Cauldron Realm and the Celestial Pole Continent. There might even be some Celestial Realm involved. Too messy. At that moment, someone knocked on the door. It was the beautiful assistant in the office. She said respectfully, "Manager Lin Ji, Chairman Lin asked me to tell you that a joint venture partner from Japan wants to see you." "A joint venture partner from Japan?" Lin Muyu frowned. Other than the air stewardess Hamasaki Ayumi and the others, she didn't know any other Japanese. Who would want to see her? "Tell him that I'll be there immediately." "All right." Chapter 1100. In the guest room, Lin Shun and Ouyang Nuoyen were also there. There was also a Japanese with slightly white hair. He looked a little tired and was not as hale and hearty as Lin Shun. Lin Muyu knocked on the door and walked in. Ouyang Nuoyen recognized him at a glance and quickly stood up to stretch out her hand. Lin Ji, long time no see. Lin Muyu shook her hand and said with a smile, indeed, long time no see. The last time I saw you, you were still a slightly childish girl. This time, you have already grown into a goddess. You must be joking. Ouyang Nuoyen chuckled and said, here, let me introduce you. This is the chairman of Japan's Akina Mountain Corporation, Mr. Wada Junichi. He is also the person in charge of Destiny Corporation's products in Japan. Mr. Wada Junichi has long admired your reputation as the #1 martial god of conquest, so he wanted to meet you. Oh, I see. Lin Muyu walked forward with a smile and took the initiative to extend her hand. Nice to meet you, Mr. Wada Junichi. Wada Junichi also stood up with a sincere smile and said in Chinese that was not very smooth, nice to meet you, little friend Lin Ji. When he shook hands, it seemed ordinary, but Lin Muyu felt as if he was holding a fireball in his palm. A burning sensation came from his arm. Was he crazy? Lin Muyu turned pale with fright. Was Wada Junichi testing her? At this moment she could not reveal her undying golden body or use a large amount of divine power. Otherwise she would be exposed in front of Ouyang Nuoyen. When Lin Muyu looked over, Wada Junichi still had a sincere smile on his face. It was like a fan seeing an idol. You. Qin Yin was the first to feel that something was wrong. Lin Yen and Lin Shun did not feel anything. Tang Xiaoxi quickly stepped forward and put her fingers on the edge of the windbreaker. A faint flame lingered around her. Just as she was about to make a move, Lin Muyu reached out and stopped her waist. She smiled and said, Xiaoxi, what's wrong? I'm fine. Tang Xiaoxi lowered her head, her gaze unreadable. Lin Muyu endured the raging flames in her palm and looked up at Wada Junichi. Suddenly she exerted a hidden force on her palm. Suddenly Wada Junichi's face turned pale and he withdrew his hand. Lin Muyu smiled faintly and said, Mr. Wada Junichi, is this your first time in China? Yes, it's my first time here. China is really beautiful. Wada Junichi's eyes flashed with a sharp light. Since China is good, stay in China for a while. Our China has endless mountains and rivers. Lin Muyu smiled slightly. You will like it. Lin Shun felt a little strange at the side. He thought, when did Lin Ji become so polite? He can actually chat with a stranger like this. Wada Junichi's entire arm felt numb. Just now Lin Muyu's hidden force made him suffer a lot, but he couldn't tell anything from his appearance, so he couldn't act out. However, he could confirm that Lin Ji in front of him was not simple. After seeing the guests, Lin Muyu simply didn't leave. She sat down in the conference room and asked, Dad, are you going to accompany Xiao Yan and Mr. Junichi for lunch at noon? Yeah, I want to be a good host. Lin Shun nodded. What's wrong? Lin Muyu smiled. Nothing. I want to go with them and freeload some delicious food. Is that okay? Of course. Lin Shun couldn't help but laugh. Ouyang Nuoyen also smiled. It's our honor to have you do us the honor of eating with us. Lin Shun said, it's about time. Sco. Wada Junichi's background was unknown, so Lin Muyu had to be on guard. At the very least he had to ensure his father's safety. At noon, Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi took Lin Shun's car, while Lin Muyu took Ouyang Nuoyen's car in Shanghai. She drove herself and didn't even ask for a chauffeur, while Lin Muyu sat in the front passenger seat. Tell me, what secret do you have to tell me? Ouyang Nuoyen looked ahead and said with a smile. The president of Destiny Group's China region was indeed as smart as snow. She could see through Lin Muyu's intentions. Wada Junichi, how much do you know about him, Nuoyen? Lin Muyu played with the accessories in the car as she asked. Wada Junichi? Ouyang Nuoyen was startled and said, I don't really know much about him. It's just that in the past year China and Japan have been fighting non-stop. There are frequent conflicts of interest between the servers, so I've been interacting more with him. Speaking of which, today is the first time we've met. He plans to invest in China in his own name. You agree? Lin Muyu asked. Not yet. Then don't agree. Why? Ouyang Nuoyen stopped the car at a red light and turned to look at Lin Muyu, asking, why Lin Ji? Wada Junichi isn't as simple as he looks. I suggest that you don't let him get involved in the management of China region. As for why, there are some things that I can't tell you. Even if I did, you wouldn't believe me. If you don't tell me, how do you know if I believe you or not? Ouyang Nuoyen was helpless. Lin Muyu pointed at the traffic light in front of them and said, I can make this traffic light cut off for 3 seconds. Do you believe me? I don't believe you. You're not from the electricity department. Then watch. Lin Muyu opened her hand and a strand of domain power flew out. Instantly, the electricity went out of control and the traffic light stopped shining. How is it? Maybe it's a coincidence. Ouyang Nuoyen was stunned. Is that so? Lin Muyu smiled. Then what do I have to do to make you believe me? Ouyang Nuoyen started the car and pulled down her sunglasses. Her beautiful eyes were filled with smiles as she looked at him. It's just a coincidence. Don't think that I will believe that you can call the wind and summon the rain, unless it's a sunny day. Make it rain in 10 minutes. Why do you need 10 minutes? I can make it rain in half a minute. Lin Muyu sat in the car and silently circulated her divine power. Strands of divine power quickly gathered in the air. In less than 10 seconds, it formed a dark cloud a few hundred meters in the sky. In the blink of an eye, it was a small-scale autumn rain. Ouyang Nuoyen was completely stunned. She turned on the windshield wiper and opened her eyes wide. You don't scare me. Lin Muyu raised a finger and divine power revolved around it like a small golden whirlwind. There are many things in this world that science can't explain. I originally didn't want to show you these, but this matter is very important. That's why I'm telling you not to have any deep cooperation with Wada Junyi. This person's heart is unfathomable. But I believe you. I will try my best to mediate and cause the cooperation with him to fail. But I also have a request. What request? Ouyang Nuoyen smiled brightly. Let's add each other's WeChat and exchange numbers. Can we be friends in the future? It's a pity that you can't be such an interesting person. Sure, we are friends to begin with. NN. Lin Muyu took out her phone and called Li Xiaoyao. Linji. Xiaoyao, help me investigate Wada Junyi, the person in charge of Destiny Corporation's Japanese server. The deeper and more detailed the better. I suspect that there's a problem with this person. Li Xiaoyao's style of doing things was swift and decisive. I will use all means to investigate. I will give you the results in 3 hours. Okay. Lin Muyu hung up and glanced at Ouyang Nuoyen. The number. Ouyang Nuoyen drove while smiling. 18706XXXXX. At this moment, in the back of the car, Lin Yen was driving while Lin Shun looked at the dark clouds in the sky. What's going on? One moment the traffic lights are malfunctioning and the next it's raining. This is too abnormal. Is it Xiao Zhi's doing? Lin Yen smiled. Definitely, sitting in the same car as Destiny Corporation's China region CEO and deliberately mystifying things. Xiao Zhi's flirting skills are definitely maxed out. Lin Shun said in a low voice. Shut up, don't talk nonsense. Lin Zhi definitely has his reasons for doing this. However, it was too late to say that. Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi, who were sitting in the back of the car, looked at each other angrily. They would definitely settle the score with Lin Muyu soon. The place to entertain the guests was a restaurant in the suburbs. It was a garden-like dining area and it was quite expensive. Since the company was paying, Lin Yen and Lin Muyu were full of smiles. They were extremely happy. 3 tables were set up and the guests were all important guests. After 3 rounds of wine, Lin Muyu stood up. She had drunk too much and wanted to go to the washroom. She said to Qin Yin softly, "Watch the place." Qin Yin happily said, Go and come back quickly." Lin Muyu stood up and went to the washroom. At this time Wada Junyi also stood up and followed. Tang Xiaoxi frowned and said in a low voice, "Do you want me to follow?" "No need, you can handle it." In the washroom, after Lin Muyu solved the problem, she was washing her hands in front of the mirror. She saw Wada Junyi walking over from the mirror. The entire washroom was quiet, leaving only the 2 of them. Wada Junyi pulled up his sleeves and washed his hands while saying in a low voice, "You guys were the ones who captured him?" She didn't need to think to know who he was talking about. Sykes, the divine king of the southern divine realm. Wada Junyi sneered and said, "Why do you have to interfere in things that you shouldn't interfere? You will only bring endless trouble to yourself." "Thank you for reminding me, but I still want to interfere." Lin Muyu took out a tissue and wiped her hands. Do you mean you want to be our enemy? Wada Junyi's eyes were cold. Lin Muyu gently raised her hand and threw the paper ball on Wada Junichi's face. She smiled and said, "That's right. So what if I become your enemy?" "You are courting death." Wada Junyi roared in a low voice and slapped her with his hand. Thick black air flowed around his arm. As expected, they are from the Southern Divine Realm. The Japanese are actually related to the Southern Divine Realm. Lin Muyu blocked the attack with her palm and pushed with her other hand. She and Tianchuni were sent flying and crashed into the wall. Even the tiles on the wall were peeled off. Wada Junyi stood up. His face was filled with anger and shock. He couldn't see through Lin Muyu's cultivation, but he knew that he was no match for her. "Do you want to continue?" Lin Muyu sneered. "I don't mind letting you die in this filthy place. You belong to this place anyway." "Say one more word." Wada Junyi shouted. The ground under his feet was already scorched and the magnetic field around him became chaotic. At this moment, a cleaning auntie walked in with a mop and kicked the cleaning in progress sign to Wada Junichi's feet. Disgust was written all over her face as she said, "What are you looking at? Can't you see I am cleaning? Go away, don't disturb my work." Wada Junyi was shocked. Lin Muyu stretched out her hand and smiled. "Mr. Junyi, let's go back and continue eating." Wada Junyi trembled and slowly walked out. "The attitude of the waiters here is really bad," Wada Junyi said. "Yes." Lin Muyu nodded and said, "But my attitude is not very good either. Fuck, you better go back to Japan immediately. Otherwise, I won't let you live past tonight." Wada Junyi. Chapter 1101. In the evening, Lin Muyu went to the Guardian's secret base. Led by Li Xiaoyao, they entered the technical department. A dozen or so screens glowed under the lights and a dozen or so men and women in uniforms. They all seemed to be busy with their own things as if they didn't notice their boss, Li Xiaoyao. "This way." Li Xiaoyao walked behind a female employee in her 20s and said, "Amaya, pull up Wada Junichi's information." "Yes, Captain, please wait." The female employee glanced at Lin Muyu and started retrieving information from the database. Not long after, all the data was displayed on the screen. The female employee said softly, "Here, this is Wada Junichi's photo from 3 years ago. Compared to the photo from today's press conference, they look very similar, but after using the facial recognition analysis system, I can see a slight difference. Although this person looks like Wada Junichi, he isn't the real Wada Junichi. Of course, it would be a different story if he had undergone plastic surgery. However, we didn't manage to find any records of Wada Junichi's plastic surgery when we hacked into Japan's intelligence system, so we can almost confirm that this person isn't Wada Junichi." Lin Muyu frowned deeply. "It looks like the people from the Southern Divine Realm did something behind the scenes. What exactly are their intentions?" Li Xiaoyao patted him on the shoulder and gestured for him to talk to the side. Their conversation was highly confidential and shouldn't be heard by too many people. When they reached the corridor, Li Xiaoyao said, "If the Southern Divine Realm is involved, then it'll be really troublesome. There aren't many people on Earth who can fight against a god. If they use modern weapons, then it'll be a war. Modern weapons can't kill a god, especially a god emperor who has mastered the god wall." Lin Muyu nodded. "The radius of a void shatter can reach up to 100 kilometers, and the most powerful nuclear bomb can only reach a radius of 100 kilometers. Using nuclear bombs to kill a god isn't as optimistic as expected. It'll just be shooting oneself in the foot." Li Xiaoyao rubbed his temples, feeling a headache coming on. "What are the Southern Divine Realm's intentions? Is there anything else on Earth that they covet?" "I don't know either." Lin Muyu shook her head and said, "We can only wait for them to make a move before we know. Or, we can directly capture Wada Jun and use the mind-reading technique to find out their true intentions. That's the only way. When are we going to catch them? Check if he has any booking records for the incoming and outgoing flights." "Yes." Li Xiaoyao whispered into his headset, "Amaya, help me check Wada Junichi's flight records online." A few seconds later, the other party replied, "There are no records. He has no plans to leave China." "Got it. Thank you." Li Xiaoyao turned around and spread his hands. "There's no record. I'm thinking that if Wada Junichi flies directly back to Japan, there's nothing we can do. The radius of a human body is too small. Radar can't capture it at all. Satellite positioning is even more unlikely." Lin Muyu took a deep breath and said, "Let me try." Leaping onto the roof of the secret base, Lin Muyu closed his eyes and spread the art of spiritual pulse. This was the first time he used the art of spiritual pulse to its maximum detection radius in Shanghai. The advantage of this was that he could discover the aura of the experts around Shanghai with a single glance, but the disadvantage was that he would be detected by others. After all, the art of spiritual pulse was a kind of energy body. As long as the opponent was strong enough, they would be able to sense that someone was spying on them. As the spirit pulse technique gradually spread out, the closest two powerful auras belonged to Gomong and Li Xiaoyao. Further away there were two auras belonging to Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi. In the distance there were hundreds of hidden auras. These auras were dead silent as if they were suppressed. There were still mutants in Shanghai. Further away the spirit pulse technique continued to spread out. The sweat on Lin Muyu's forehead increased. This was not a small amount of work. His spiritual sense continued to spread, and he sensed some slightly stronger auras in Zhenjiang, Jiaxing and other places. They should be cultivators on Earth, but their overall strength was far inferior to Li Xiaoyao's. When Lin Muyu's spirit pulse technique detected 200 kilometers away, three very strong auras appeared again. One of them was very familiar. It was Wada Junyi's aura. The other two auras were not very weak. One of them even made Lin Muyu feel a little threatened. It should be a God Emperor expert. What's the matter? Did you find anything? Li Xiaoyao asked in a low voice. Wait a minute. Lin Muyu furrowed her brows and repeatedly scanned the area with her spiritual pulse technique. Suddenly her heart skipped a beat. Other than the three strong auras, upon closer inspection, she could also sense many hidden auras. They were mutants and there were a lot of them, at least 1,000 of them. Why were there so many mutants? Lin Muyu opened his eyes in shock and pointed to the south. What direction is that? Which city is 200 kilometers away? Li Xiaoyao pondered. It's the direction of the port of Ningbo. What's wrong? Ningbo, Lin Muyu said. Wada Junyi is already in Ningbo. In addition there are two very strong gods with him. Also, I have an even bigger discovery. There are at least 1,000 mutants hidden in Ningbo. They are all in a state of concealment. It's very difficult to find them. What? Li Xiaoyao retreated a few steps in horror. He almost couldn't suppress the divine power in his body. His face was full of surprise. Oh no. How did they manage to set up so many mutants in Ningbo without anyone knowing? You seem very nervous. How can I not be nervous? Li Xiaoyao gritted his teeth. That is the direction of one of the three major fleets, the East Sea Fleet. If we go to war with Jie country, the East Sea Fleet will be the main force. As he said that, Li Xiaoyao couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. The other party's strategic intention was clear. They used artificials and mutants to destroy China's navy and suppress the strength of China's military. Then it's really troublesome. Lin Muyu said. Li Xiaoyao's body trembled slightly and he furrowed his brows as he said, I understand everything now. The mutants have been making moves in so many places, attracting a large number of our troops to encircle and suppress them. That's just to attract our attention. Their real target is the East Sea Fleet. I understand now. Lin Muyu patted his shoulder. Don't worry. They won't make a move for the time being. I can feel that the power of those mutants hasn't fully matured yet. It's just a dormant period. According to the speed of their power growth, it will take at least 3 to 5 days for them to fully awaken. I'm afraid it will be too late by the time they fully awaken. Li Xiaoyao said. I need to immediately contact my superiors and discuss with them about the deployment of defense. Wait a minute, Xiaoyao. Lin Muyu gave him a meaningful look and said, so what if they discuss the deployment of defense? You're a god. Do you think that ordinary submachine guns can deal with mutants and people like Wada Junichi who has stepped into the god realm? We still need to rely on our strength to deal with these people. Li Xiaoyao calmed down and said, you're right. Only we can do it. Lin Muyu said, since the Southern Divine Realm is helping Jie Nation, they must have reached some kind of agreement. This agreement is what I'm most concerned about. What is the Southern Divine Realm looking for? Li Xiaoyao's expression turned cold. The Southern Divine Realm helped Jie Nation secretly attack our fleet. Then right now, Jie Nation must be secretly helping the Southern Divine Realm to find the bargaining chip they need. That's right, smart. Let's go and investigate again. Li Xiaoyao flew to the technical department again and said to the female employee, Connect to our highest intelligence system and use my identity to verify all the current military movements of J Nation. Yes, Captain. Not long after, a list of actions appeared on the screen. Among them, the most eye-catching was the three-nation exercise in the South China Sea, the joint exercise of M Nation, J Nation, and Y Nation. The female employee pressed a button and the screen immediately turned into a map. Almost every warship participating in the exercise was marked. Lin Muyu stood behind her and stared at the screen. She said, "Exit this map and look at the other actions." Amaya seemed a little hesitant. Li Xiaoyao said, "Do it." Yes. The list appeared again. Lin Muyu stared at the hundreds of records on the screen. She suddenly pointed at one of them and said, "This? Look at the details." After Amaya turned on the screen, rows of Japanese words appeared on the screen. She was quite good and immediately translated. 7 months ago, the R&D department of J Nation's Navy discovered a total of 12 energy signals from the deep sea. They repeatedly combined and analyzed these signals and finally came to a conclusion. There must be a huge energy body somewhere in the depths of the Pacific Ocean. Once this energy body is obtained, it will change the pattern of modern warfare. Change the pattern of modern warfare? Li Xiaoyao frowned. What do you mean? Amaya smiled faintly. According to this secret file, this energy can produce a huge electromagnetic impact that will disable any electronic equipment. If it is used in war, it will be incredible. Lin Muyu said, "Then let's find out where their maritime self-defense forces are located other than those participating in the drill." "They are all in the Pacific Ocean." Amaya brought up the map and said, "They have all been marked on it. They have sent many warships and ships to salvage and explore. It has been going on for 5 months. Li Xiaoyao frowned. "Why didn't our superiors find out about such a big thing?" "They found out, but they don't think much of it. They think that J Nation is just overthinking." Li Xiaoyao looked deeply at Lin Muyu and said, "What do you think?" Lin Muyu already had a rough idea. "If I'm not mistaken, the thing they are looking for is a divine artifact. Only a divine artifact can release such a huge amount of energy. J Nation's army is helping the Southern Realm find the divine artifact, and the Southern Realm will create mutants to help them attack our army. This is the content of the deal. From the looks of it, the Southern Realm came to Earth to search for treasures, not to conquer Earth. Maybe they will think of conquering Earth after they find the divine artifact." Lin Muyu smiled faintly. "Then we'll talk about it after we find it. I also want to see what kind of divine artifact is worth so much effort." Chapter 1102. The next day, a military vehicle slowly drove into the military base. Li Xiaoyao, Xinglai, and Fu Tu all went to greet them. Only Lin Muyu sat on the roof with her legs crossed, looking at the ceremony below. The door opened and 2 middle-aged men got out of the vehicle. They were both wearing military uniforms. One had the insignia of a general, and the other had the insignia of a lieutenant general. "Captain Wang, you're here." Li Xiaoyao smiled as he walked forward. The one called Captain Wang was Li Xiaoyao's former superior, Wang Exin. The other one was Sun Xiang, the deputy commander of the Nanjing military region. Ever since they got out of the vehicle, Sun Xiang's gaze had been fixed on Lin Muyu. He knew that this young man wasn't simple. Otherwise, Li Xiaoyao wouldn't have relied on him so much. "Let's talk inside. Linji, you come too." Li Xiaoyao greeted from afar. Lin Muyu landed on the ground. She looked at Sun Xiang indifferently and nodded. Sun Xiang, on the other hand, was a little uneasy. He, a dignified general, actually felt nervous when Lin Muyu looked at him like this. It was as if he had no secrets to hide. It wasn't a good feeling. In the sealed conference room of the base, Li Xiaoyao, Lin Muyu, and the others sat upright. Sun Xiang and Wang Exin also had serious expressions. "Are you sure there are more than 1,000 mutants?" Sun Xiang asked. "Yes." Li Xiaoyao said, "I believe in Lin Ji's judgment. It won't be wrong." "Young man, is that so?" Sun Xiang looked over. Lin Muyu nodded, "More and less. Specifically, there should be more than 1,200 mutants. In addition, there are 3 people who are more powerful than the mutants. Each of them is equivalent to 300 mutants." Oh. Sun Xiang was startled. Li Xiaoyao said, "With the ability of the mutants, it won't be a problem for them to sneak into the base of the East Sea Fleet. But with their strength, once they destroy our command system, the East Sea Fleet will suffer a huge loss. They will blow up and sink our ship? Sun Xiang was stunned. Yes, I think so. Absolutely not. Sun Xiang lightly slammed his fist on the table and said, the East Sea Fleet is the main force of the three fleets and also our trump card. We can't let them destroy it. That's why we need to strike first. Li Xiaoyao said, take advantage of the fact that those mutants have yet to awaken to take them down with one strike. Otherwise, once the 1,200 mutants awaken, even if we kill them head-on, it will be a Pyrrhic victory. Wang Xin furrowed his brows. What exactly are we going to do? Should we take the initiative to attack and wipe them out in one fell swoop? Sun Xiang said, send the bombers to bombard the city. I only have these mutants to block the bombers. Lin Muyu, who had been silent all this while, reminded, what if the mutants' experimental base is in a civilian area? Can our fighter jets guarantee that they won't harm the civilians? Sun Xiang gritted his teeth. Lin Muyu said, we can only surround them from the ground and kill them with firepower. Sun Xiang said, you're Lin Ji, right? I heard from Li Xiaoyao that you're very powerful, right? Not bad. Can you deal with 1,200 mutants? Lin Muyu smiled faintly. If they swarm and attack me, I can guarantee that I can kill them all in half an hour. But if they swarm and attack others, I can't guarantee that I can kill them one by one. In the end, we still need our military to participate in the battle, right? Sun Xiang said. Yes. Lin Muyu nodded. We need to surround them to prevent them from attacking the civilians. Sun Xiang took a deep breath. Time is of the essence. There's no time to formulate a specific plan. Li Xiaoyao, I'll leave this operation to you. I'll give you the authority to temporarily mobilize the surrounding troops. You can even ask the East Sea Fleet to cooperate with us. Saying that, Sun Xiang looked at Lin Muyu and said, Lin Ji, I know you're from China. Are you willing to serve our people? I'm not willing. Lin Muyu's voice was very soft. I'm only loyal to my heart, but I'll help. Please rest assured. Sun Xiang was puzzled at first, but then he chuckled. That's good. We should be glad that you said that. On the third day, more than 500 Special Forces members secretly entered Ningbo under Li Xiaoyao's instructions and stationed themselves in the suburbs near the East Sea Fleet's base. In the middle of the night, two figures rode electric scooters and sped through the slightly dilapidated urban area. Why do we have to ride electric scooters? Lin Muyu sat behind the scooter and looked at her clothes. And why do we have to wear factory uniforms? Li Xiaoyao rode the scooter and said, it's not easy to be discovered. I've observed that most of the areas in this area are factories and workers, so dressing like this won't attract attention. You don't want to alert the enemy, do you? Come on, this uniform is clearly a female worker's uniform. Isn't it because we can't find male workers? Not far away, a tube-shaped building stood on the outskirts of the city. It's here. Go around it and don't go in, Lin Muyu said. Li Xiaoyao nodded. Lin Muyu opened her spiritual pulse technique and sensed it. Sure enough, the dense aura of mutants came from the tube-shaped building. She only sensed it for a moment and immediately withdrew her spiritual sense, lest Wadachuani and the others discover it. Are you sure? I'm sure. Lin Muyu said, they're all mutants. There are no civilians within 500 meters. Your express delivery plan can be implemented. Li Xiaoyao frowned and said, Lin Ji, are you sure you want to carry out the express delivery plan in person? If something happens to you, I won't be able to explain it to Uncle Lin Shan. Besides, you're not a soldier. There's no need for you to do it. Lin Muyu said, don't say that. I'll go. You know my strength. Nothing will happen to me. But you've just entered the divine realm and haven't even cultivated your Gangqi yet. If you go, you'll be more likely to get into trouble. If I don't do it when I have the ability and you lose your life, I'll really blame myself for the rest of my life. Li Xiaoyao suddenly stopped, feeling a little touched. If it weren't for the fact that your family is too rich and I'm afraid that you'll think that I'm out of your league, I'd really like to become sworn brothers with you. Lin Muyu laughed so hard that she almost burst into tears. Stop being such a busybody. Scope. I need to change into decent clothes before carrying out the express delivery plan. Ha ha ha. At 5 o'clock in the morning, a dense group of Special Forces members surrounded the entire apartment building under the cover of the night. Cold guns were aimed at the apartment building. Li Xiaoyao was escorting a huge box. Inside was a bullet that glowed with a faint golden light. This was the entire express delivery plan. The so-called express delivery plan was a high-temperature meltdown bomb. It was developed by Lin Wanner's family's Tianjin group. It could create a very strong problem. After testing, the temperature of the bomb was enough to kill mutants. Moreover, the explosion range was only about 100 meters, so it wouldn't hurt the innocent. However, the process was very difficult. Someone had to send the huge bomb into the crowd of mutants and detonate it. The person to carry it out was Lin Muyu. Only he had the ability to shatter the void and escape the moment the bomb was detonated. Ordinary gods didn't have this kind of speed. Be careful, Linji. Xinglai reminded him. Fu Tu frowned and said, Linji, if you really can't do it, let me do it. Lin Muyu glanced at him. You can't carry it. Fu Tu was speechless. This bullet weighed a ton. How could a normal human carry it? But Lin Muyu was different. She grabbed the metal chain by the side of the bullet and easily lifted it up. It was as if she was carrying a big salted fish. She said, detonate it in 1 minute. Make sure to lock down the surrounding area with firepower. Don't let a single mutant escape. Also, Xiaoyao, you have to be careful of the Southern God Realm people. They are all nearby. The moment it explodes, they will notice. Got it. Be careful. Lin Muyu carried the bullet and walked a few steps forward. She suddenly stopped. What now? Li Xiaoyao asked. If I die, can I be added as a martyr? Lin Muyu asked. Astrasigo. Ha, Xinglai, Fu Tu and the others were full of admiration. The person carrying out this kind of mission could actually laugh. If she wasn't brave, then she was crazy. Lin Muyu took a deep breath and rushed into the tube-shaped building with the warhead in her arms. She broke through the wall and went straight to the place where the mutant's aura was the most concentrated. Bang, 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 bang. She broke through countless walls and suddenly appeared in a sealed laboratory. Sure enough, it was the same as the one in Shanghai. There were containers filled with mutants everywhere. Inside a broken container, the mutant slowly woke up. When he saw a person carrying a bullet, his expression suddenly changed. He shouted, Brothers, wake up. There's an invasion. But it was too late. Lin Muyu gently pressed the detonator of the bullet. Whoosh. Her figure quickly turned into an afterimage and disappeared. The bullet fell to the ground and quickly counted down. Outside, Lin Muyu had already appeared beside Li Xiaoyao, Xinglai and the others. She clapped her hands and said, 3, 2, 1, 2. Sure enough, just as Lin Muyu had counted, more than half of the tube-shaped building was instantly smashed into pieces. The high-temperature bomb had melted almost everything, and in the blink of an eye, there was a deep pit. In fact, there were mutant guards outside the tube-shaped building, but they were blown up without anyone knowing before they could warn them. This is great. Li Xiaoyao's face was full of excitement. He said in the earpiece, Start the battle. Shoot all the enemies in sight. Under the illumination of the fire, the ambushing snipers fired one after another. Suddenly, the spies near the tube-shaped building fell to the ground. In the blink of an eye, they had been wiped out. But at this moment, a roar came from the fire. Some mutants who had not been killed by the explosion rushed out with flames. Fire blockade. Li Xiaoyao ordered loudly. Fu Tu and the others began to shoot. Bullets continuously bombarded the mutants' bodies, but it seemed to have little effect. Get out of the way. Lin Muyu said calmly. She walked forward and opened her 5 fingers. Divine power surged and she shouted, All things in the world, listen to my command. An invisible domain aura instantly crushed down, crushing the seemingly indestructible mutant into pieces. The entire ground instantly sank several meters and dust filled the air. Damn, Fu Tu's mouth opened wide. Awesome. Chapter 1103. They're here. Li Xiaoyao pointed to the east and saw 3 streaks of light flying toward them. It was obvious that they were divine state experts from the southern divine realm. Lin Muyu knew that she had a great responsibility and immediately used the invisible power of an elephant to seal off the surrounding space so that the 3 gods couldn't escape by shattering the void. She pulled out the Shenyuan sword at the same time and flew into the sky with a low whistle. Xiaoyao, defend the ground. Yes. Li Xiaoyao also pulled out Butterfly and yelled as he entered the state of the immortal state. His body was surrounded by faint flames as he stood in front of Xinglai, Fu Tu and the others like a god. He said, Keep up the suppressive fire and don't let any mutant escape. Xinglai, use the night vision goggles and help Lin Ji when necessary. Yes, boss. Xinglai carried his sniper rifle and flew away. He hid among piles of bricks and set up his rifle to find the best place to snipe. How dare you! A ball of blood-red chaotic energy fell from the sky like a meteor. It was a hierarch realm god of the southern divine realm. He held a shining steel blade in his hand and swung it straight at Li Xiaoyao's head. He's coming. Be careful, spread out. Li Xiaoyao shouted loudly, but he did not hesitate to raise the butterfly sword in his hand. Wisps of flame divine power surged out of his energy reserve and swept onto the blade of the sword, drawing a gorgeous arc as it went straight for the opponent's steel saber. In the air, the burly man narrowed his eyes, the strong muscles on his body glistening with sweat under the illumination of the fire. He did not have a name, but the people of the southern divine realm called him the Attacker. His attacks were fierce and overbearing, and he could be considered an outstanding figure among the group of people in the divine realm. At this moment, the Attacker could sense that although the strength of the youth in front of him was boundless, it was definitely not stronger than his. Therefore, he instantly increased the strength of his attack by 20%, increasing the strength of this attack to 70% and stopped probing. Clang! Sparks flew everywhere and the butterfly was instantly forced back by the steel knife. The attacker's face suddenly showed a smug expression. But this smile froze half a second later because after Li Xiaoyao's long sword was repelled, he gently flipped his wrist and spat out a second wave of divine power. Like a snake, the arc of the sword wrapped around the edge of the steel saber, and forcefully pulled the attacker's body down, smashing into the ground with a boom. Before the attacker could raise his head, he could already feel the wung-wung sound of wind breaking. It was Li Xiaoyao's flying kick. Huh! The attacker was slightly shocked and hurriedly raised his left arm to block the attack. Bang! The earth trembled slightly. Li Xiaoyao's kick was so powerful that it actually shook off the attacker's arm. He flipped his body in the air and slashed out the third time. His movements were as smooth as flowing water and his attack seemed to be continuous. The attacker was in a lot of trouble. He was clearly stronger than Li Xiaoyao in terms of strength, but Li Xiaoyao was much stronger than him in swordsmanship and combat skills. Get lost. The attacker straightened his abdomen and his chaotic divine power surged. With a roar, he used his body as an explosive force to send out waves of energy. Immediately, the night vision scopes of the special forces around him were all rendered useless and some were even shattered. Many of them retreated with nosebleeds. This was not a battle that humans could participate in at all. Li Xiaoyao stood in the air and raised his right arm slightly. His butterfly sword cut through the opponent's chaotic airwaves with blazing flames. It was like a small boat in the middle of a raging wave, and it landed on the attacker's shoulder. However, it was repelled by the attacker's chi vigor. Ah, do you think you can hurt me? You're just an ant on earth. The attacker laughed. Li Xiaoyao didn't say a word. He gently reached for his waist with his left hand and immediately pulled out a brand new pistol. The black muzzle was aimed straight at the attacker. With a bang, the fiery nano bullet directly hit the attacker's dantian, causing the golden stellar energy to buzz. Damn it, what's this? The attacker bent down and held his aching abdomen. Before he could raise his head, Li Xiaoyao turned around and kicked him in the head. Flames surged. The kick was so powerful that it sent the attacker rolling on the ground, leaving a long trail on the ground. How dare a mere ultimate god be so arrogant? Do you really think there's no one else on earth? Li Xiaoyao raised his hand gently. Suppressive firepower. The group of special forces around him took aim and fired. Suddenly there was a rain of bullets. Countless bullets kept splattering on the attacker's body. Although they could not kill him, they were rapidly depleting the attacker's stellar energy. The energy of stellar energy came from the divine power in his dantian. At this rate, the attacker was not far from death. In the sky, two balls of flames filled with chaotic auras shuttled back and forth, while a golden figure flew to block them. Streaks of resplendent sword chi blossomed in the sky, causing many special forces to raise their heads and look. The battle in the sky was not something they could compete with, much less participate in. That was a battle between gods. Boom. A ball of black flames exploded in the air and turned into a bunch of small bat-like attack waves, constantly rushing toward Lin Muyu's body. Lin Muyu held the Xianyuan sword in her hand and dealt with it with ease in the state of immortal golden body. She slashed out with her sword, chopping the opponent's impact energy into pieces. At the same time, a black energy enshrouded her palm. Even a chaotic law spirit pearl around her arm had begun to dance. Go! Lin Muyu raised her hand and tossed out the chaotic impact energy. Instantly, the black figure in the wind could not help but let out a surprised cry. Then he summoned all the strength in his body to block the attack and let out a roar. The cloak behind him fluttered violently. He used all the strength in his body to block Lin Muyu's attack. Die! A gust of wind came from behind her. It was a thin black sword. Lin Muyu's eyes were sharp. He dodged the rapier and raised his left arm to hit Wada Junichi's back with his elbow. His attack was so ingenious that it hit Wada Junichi's face with a bang. 2 teeth flew out of his mouth. Even a god would have his teeth knocked out by such an attack. Wada Junichi's body swayed in the air. Golden blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He looked at Lin Muyu with a very ferocious expression. He no longer spoke in broken Chinese, but very authentic Chinese. After all, his identity as a Japanese was also fake. Why do you want to go against the Southern Divine Realm? Why? Lin Muyu's eyes were burning. What do you mean by going against you? I was born and grew up here. Earth is my home. Moreover, Earth is under the jurisdiction of the Eastern Divine Realm. What right do you have to do whatever you want on Earth? Listen to me. Leave Earth now and your Southern Divine Realm can still save some face. Otherwise, when I return to the Eastern Divine Realm, you will not only face my revenge alone. Who are you? The black-robed expert asked. Lin Muyu looked at him. This person was much stronger than Wada Junichi. He had 85 Heavenly Caves cultivation. He could be considered a very respectable opponent. Lin Muyu said, before asking me who I am, shouldn't you first announce your identity? The black-robed man frowned and bowed respectfully. Southern Divine Realm White Realm Silver Venerable Tong Mingqiao. Lin Muyu smiled faintly. What about you, Wada Junichi? Wada Junichi bowed with both hands. Southern Divine Realm Bronze Venerable Tianhe. Tong Mingqiao said, now can you show your identity? Your Southern Divine Realm is really ill-informed. Lin Muyu raised her eyebrows. I am the new Left Marshal of the Eastern Divine Realm Lin Muyu. I command 70,000 troops of the Dragon League and 20,000 Protoss troops of the Eastern Heaven. Ah! Tong Mingqiao was stunned. How is this possible? This Earth can't give birth to a Marshal of the Divine Realm. This is absolutely impossible. But it is the truth. Lin Muyu frowned. So what now? Do you still insist on going against me? If you do, don't even think about leaving here alive. Don't try to escape through the spatial rift. Or, you can try. Tong Mingqiao said, although we don't want to go against Lin General, this is our mission and the only hope to save our White Realm. So, you really don't know what's good for you. What happened in the Southern Divine Realm to cause such chaos? Tong Mingqiao said respectfully, several thousand years ago the Southern Divine Realm was split into 2 great races. One was called the White Realm and the other was called the Black Realm. The 2 races fought endlessly, so the strength of the Southern Divine Realm couldn't compare to the other 3 God Realms. In order to make the Black Realm submit completely, our White Realm King decided to find the divine weapons of the 4 directions to defeat them by surprise, end the thousands of years of conflict and unify the region of chaos. Realm King. The corner of Lin Muyu's mouth twitched. She couldn't accept it. She said, so you cooperated with the humans on Earth to salvage the divine weapon you were looking for? Yes. Tong Mingqiao said, we don't want to get involved in the conflict on Earth. We just want to find the divine weapon and return to the God Realm. Please don't make things difficult for us, Lin General. You don't have to get involved even if you don't want to. Lin Muyu pointed down and said, the land below is my homeland. You're helping our enemy to attack my country. Do you think I'll just stand by and watch? If you know what's good for you, get back to the Southern Divine Realm immediately. Otherwise I'll kill every single god on Earth. I mean it. Tong Mingqiao was startled. He said, Tianhe and I don't have the right to decide. We can only report to Lord Jin Zun to decide if we should give up on the mission to find the divine weapon. Who's Jin Zun? He's our leader, one of the protectors of the law of chaos. Lin Muyu pointed her sword at him and said, all right, Tianhe will go back and report this Jin Zun to me. As for you, Tong Mingqiao, you will stay behind as a hostage. I only need one person to report. You're going too far. Tian He shouted angrily. His sword turned into a cold light and stabbed at the back of Lin Muyu's neck. Chapter 1104. You're courting death. Lin Muyu lightly shook her arm, and her entire body shone with golden light. Behind her, a golden-red flame transformed into a long robe, and her entire body was covered in a suit of armor. This was Lin Muyu's divine transformation state. In the divine book of the Eastern Divine Realm, Lin Muyu's identity was that of a martial, so the effects of divine transformation were naturally extraordinary. The golden robe fluttered and the flames burned. In an instant, Wada Junichi, who had launched a sneak attack, was burned to ashes, leaving only a sparkling godhead that fell to the ground. Just the remnant power of divine transformation was enough to kill a divine king. Tong Mingchao's face was deathly pale. Not only was he shocked, but he was also in awe. Ever since the 7 luminaries demon emperor took over the East Heaven, the Eastern Divine Realm had been recognized as the strongest of the 4 divine realms. Who could be chosen as a marshal by the 7 luminaries demon emperor? How could any of them be easy to deal with? The Lin Muyu in front of him was probably far stronger than him. Lin General. Tong Mingchao's expression was a little dejected. Lin Muyu lightly waved her hand. It seems like there's no one to send a message. In that case, there's no need. If the 3 of you can't return, I believe that your Jin Zun will naturally come looking for me, right? Yes, Jin Zun will follow my aura and come looking for me. Tong Mingchao's expression dimmed and he said, Is Lin General going to fight with Jin Zun? Is he qualified to be my opponent? Lin Muyu asked. Tong Mingchao nodded slightly. Yes. Lin Muyu could not help but be surprised. Tong Mingchao had seen her strength, but he still said that. This was enough to prove that he was a golden venerable. Perhaps. Could he be a level 99 Grotto Heaven Pinnacle God Emperor? That's right. Tong Mingchao smiled bitterly. Lord Jin Zun is indeed a 99th layer heavenly abode, the most capable general under the World King. Even with your abilities, Lin General, I'm afraid that you are not Jin Zun's opponent. Lin Muyu smiled. All right, I'll wait for him to find me. Go. Put this on. What is this? Tong Mingchao looked at the pair of shackles and couldn't help but be shocked. Something that can turn you into immortal. Lin Muyu smiled faintly and suddenly grabbed Tong Mingchao's wrist. The shackles refined by the demonic heart stone locked the god up. Then she brought him to the surface. On the ground, the flames were still burning, but most of the mutants had been subdued. As for the attacker, he was already a sieve. The moment his divine power was used up and his earth energy disappeared, his body was pierced by the nano-bullets. Of course, the most fatal one was the sword on his neck. Li Xiaoyao directly cut his meridians so he couldn't use his divine power. Naturally, only death awaited him. The attacker laid there, the ground covered in golden blood. Tong Mingchao took a look and his eyes were filled with pity. You guys asked for it, don't blame others, Lin Muyu said. I know. Winner takes all, that's how it is. Tong Mingchao smiled faintly. If you lose the battle against Jin Zun, you guys will end up the same way. You want to kill us all? Lin Muyu raised her eyebrows. Yes. Humph, don't talk so much nonsense. Let's talk in the car. Bringing the imprisoned Tong Mingchao into the East Sea Fleet's base, Li Xiaoyao handed over the mission to Sun Xiang that night. The East Sea Fleet had been facing a sudden attack by the mutants had been resolved, but they couldn't let down their guard. At this time they had entered a state of panic. All the major battlefields on the continent had entered a state of alert, which could be felt from the constant roars of fighter jets in the air. In the early hours of the morning, 5 armed helicopters left Ningbo to escort Li Xiaoyao, Lin Muyu, and the others back to the secret base in Shanghai. After all, Tong Mingchao was not an ordinary human, so he had to be watched by someone. It wasn't safe for him to stay in the East Sea Fleet. The autumn evening wind poured into the airport. Lin Muyu was blown by the wind, frowning. She, Li Xiaoyao, Xinglai, and Fu were in a helicopter, while Tong Mingchao was in the helicopter in front to escort them and ensure their safety. What's wrong, Linji? Why are you frowning? Li Xiaoyao said, We should celebrate the successful completion of the mission. I was planning to hold a celebration party when we return to Shanghai. We won't go home until we're drunk. Don't rush the celebration party. Lin Muyu looked deeply into the night and said, Our opponents are far from just Tong Mingchao. There's still a gold venerable above him. He's one of the top figures in the Southern Divine Realm. I'm afraid his strength isn't below mine. I brought Tong Mingqiao back to lure this gold venerable to fight me. What? You didn't mention this to me. Li Xiaoyao was shocked and then asked, what's the background of this gold venerable? How strong is he? Very, very strong. According to the classification of power in the God realm, I'm level 95, and he's level 99, the maximum. Li Xiaoyao frowned. But you have good equipment. Don't you have the Xianyuan sword? You can say so. My skills might be stronger than his, but it doesn't guarantee my victory. Lin Muyu sighed softly and said, this is a gamble. It will decide the fate of Earth in the future. If I win, Earth will still be Earth. If I lose, Earth will probably become a plane enslaved by the Southern Divine Realm. Absolutely not. We will never be someone else's slave. Li Xiaoyao shook his head coldly. Lin Muyu smiled. Good brother, I'm very happy that you have this ambition. Once I lose or am killed, you must be decisive. Immediately ascend to the Eastern Divine Realm and find the 7 luminaries Demon Emperor to avenge me. Ascend. Li Xiaoyao shook his head repeatedly. I won't give up on my family and friends to drag out an ignoble existence. If we really lose, I'd rather die on the battlefield than leave alone. No one can persuade me otherwise. Lin Muyu couldn't help but smile. I was also stubborn back then. That's why I died. Died. Li Xiaoyao was stunned. Yes. Lin Muyu leaned back and recalled the scene of her being killed by Luolan in Lanyan City. She said, there's no pain in death. It's just a silent disappearance. As long as she's still in my heart, there's nothing to be afraid of. Li Xiaoyao seemed to understand something. He stopped talking and hugged the butterfly in his arms tightly. He knew that at the moment of death, the butterfly was his best friend. Only it could save him and protect the people he cared about. In the early hours of the morning, several cruisers glowed on the Pacific Ocean. Suddenly, a man wearing a high-ranking military rank rushed up to the deck excitedly, laughing loudly, Jian Jian, Jian. Japanese found it. Everyone cheered and hugged each other. Finally, the long-awaited mission was about to be completed. The salvage ship kept shaking and shaking. Many navies had already run to the edge of the ship to see what the salvage ship had found. The seawater made a hissing sound. Soon after, a faint red light appeared below. Everyone was dumbfounded. One by one they shouted something incomprehensible in horror. A few minutes later the water turned fiery red. The seawater also buzzed and trembled as if there was a demon hiding in the deep sea. The sea breeze blew and waves were lifted onto the deck, drenching the navy's clothes. Everyone was a little scared but also a little excited. They stopped talking and just watched with their eyes wide open. They almost forgot to breathe. Buzz. The seawater rippled violently and a dazzling light slowly rose from the bottom of the sea. As the iron chain on the salvage ship's giant arm rose, it gradually emerged from the water. In the huge net hanging from the hook was a huge fiery red sword at least 10 meters long. The blazing fire almost made people unable to open their eyes, and ancient characters appeared on the blade. What do you mean? A colonel asked. But the surrounding people shook their heads in confusion. No one knew what the text was about, but no one would question the power of this behemoth. Among the crowd on the deck, a man in a black robe slowly opened his cloak, revealing an old but spirited face. The corners of his mouth gently curled up and he said with a smile, "We've finally found you, Zhu Rong's sacred fire sword, the legendary first-class artifact. We've finally found you. As expected, you're sleeping in the great realm of desolation, sir." The old man smiled and nodded. "That's right, that's it." "What?" The Major General showed a congratulatory smile. The elderly man laughed out loud, then leaped up into the air. After flying around the Zhu Rong sacred fire sword for a few circles, he slowly gripped the hilt of the sword. Immediately, the sword began shrinking as if it had recognized its master, until it became a moderate-sized sword. However, the fiery light grew stronger and stronger and its power didn't decrease at all. Wisps of heat rose from the sword as if it was cheering for a new master. The old man's eyes glowed and he said with a smile, "You were originally from the realm beyond heaven, but you were obtained by a weak god like Zhu Rong in the mortal world. It's really a disgrace to your power. But don't worry, in my hands, you will kill those legends and make the impossible possible." With that, the old man looked to the west coldly and said, Inzuan Tong, don't worry, I will come to rescue you immediately. The Major General seemed to want to say something, but he did not dare to. In the eyes of the old man, this group of soldiers from Country J was simply like ants, not worth mentioning. Now that the Zhu Rong sacred fire sword had been found, they had also lost their last value. In the early hours of the morning, Lin Muyu, who had just closed his eyes on the bed, suddenly sat up. His heart was beating very fast and his mind was filled with ominous scenes. He saw some things, saw someone crying, shouting, but he could not tell who it was, nor could he see what was happening. Jin Zun, he called out lightly, and the light in his eyes burst out and said, "The person you are looking for is me, it has nothing to do with others, come to me." Chapter 1105. Whoosh. A ray of golden light fell on the salvage ship and condensed into the vague figure of Lin Muyu. She had found Jin Zun the moment he obtained the Zhu Rong sacred fire sword. Alert! Someone shouted. A group of soldiers aimed at Lin Muyu's figure. However, this was just a wisp of spiritual will. It was invisible and did not fear bullets at all. Lin Muyu seemed to ignore the soldiers around her. She looked at Gold Sovereign with torch-like eyes and smiled faintly. "You are Gold Sovereign of the Southern Divine Realm?" "That's right." Jin Zun took off his cloak and revealed an old and reserved face. He smiled. "If I'm not wrong, you are the Left Marshal of the Eastern Divine Realm, Lin Muyu?" "Yes." Lin Muyu looked at the divine sword and said, "Is this what the Southern Divine Realm is looking for?" "That's right." Jin Zun said indifferently, "The Zhu Rong sacred fire sword, a holy artifact from the realm beyond heaven that has been passed down for tens of thousands of years, has finally returned to the hands of our descendants. Zhu Rong's treasure clearly belongs to the descendants of Wuxia. When did it become your turn? Lin Muyu, you are still too young and immature. There are many things you don't know." Jin Zun smiled. "Who do you think the ancestor of the Southern Divine Realm is? The evil death god? That's not the case. The White Realm of the Southern Divine Realm also came from the Great Realm of Desolation 50,000 years ago. What right do you have to say that the Zhu Rong sacred fire sword doesn't belong to us? We are all gods from the Great Realm of Desolation. The treasure here belongs to everyone." Lin Muyu narrowed her eyes. "The Zhu Rong sacred fire sword is already yours. What else do you want? You've killed so many gods of our Southern God realm. Do you really think you can just walk away like that?" Jin Zun said calmly. "What do you mean? Is the Southern God realm planning to start a war with our East Heaven? It's not a war, just revenge." Jin Zun pointed his sword at Lin Muyu and said, "This is a grudge between you and me. You killed my people without distinguishing between right and wrong. How can I let you go? Besides," Jin Zun smiled meaningfully. His eyes were filled with a taboo smile. "It's rare to meet a god emperor with a supreme godhead and a 95th level grotto heaven. You are a rare talent that only appears once in 10,000 years. How can I miss this chance to learn from you?" Lin Muyu said calmly, "So what you mean is, you want to continue to work hard for Japan and become our enemy? Of course not. There's only a deal between me and them. There's no gratitude. Fine. Learn from me or learn from me. I'll keep you company." Golden Sovereign laughed and stroked his beard. "Marshal Lin, don't worry. This old man won't do anything to your family or friends. In this old man's eyes, you're the only one worthy of being called an opponent. I won't do anything despicable. As for the friction between the two countries, this old man has nothing to do with this old man. I won't interfere anymore." Lin Muyu couldn't help but feel a bit of respect. "Thank you for your understanding, senior. Then, let's decide on a place to fight it out. There's no hurry." Jin Zun looked at the vast ocean in the darkness and said, "I still have some things to do. When I'm done, I'll go find Lin General and fight it out. Please wait patiently." Lin Muyu sensed something unusual and said, "Senior, you said you won't interfere in the affairs of the countries on Earth. Please keep your promise." "Don't worry." At this time, a group of soldiers from J country finally couldn't bear it anymore. The Major General took out his pistol and shot Lin Muyu in the head. With a bang, the golden light faded and a hole appeared on Lin Muyu's forehead. But she didn't seem to be injured at all. She just looked at him coldly. Jin Zun frowned. "Idiot, what are you doing? Put down your gun. This is the god of the divine realm. How can a waste like you compete with him? Get out of my sight immediately." The group of soldiers was submissive. Rather than saying that they were cooperating, It was better to say that Jin Zun was threatening them. Lin Muyu clasped her fist and smiled. Then senior, see you later. See you later. Jin Zun also clasped his fist. They were both gods from the great realm of desolation, and there were many similarities in etiquette. When Lin Muyu's figure slowly dissipated into golden light and flowed into the sea, a group of members of J country's maritime self-defense force were stunned. They had a very bad feeling in their hearts. More and more non-humans were appearing on Earth and they were speaking Chinese. No matter what, this was not a good thing. The next morning the sun was shining brightly. The Lin family's villa still seemed so quiet and peaceful. The family ate breakfast together and the atmosphere was indescribably harmonious. How did yesterday's mission go, brother Yu? Qin Yin asked with a smile. It went smoothly. Lin Muyu smiled. Lin Shun looked up at him and said, Xiaoji, no matter what, you are not a soldier. Don't hang out with people like Li Xiaoyao and Xinglai all day. It's too dangerous. Lin Muyu knew that her father cared about her safety the most and couldn't help but smile. I know what I'm doing. Besides, Li Xiaoyao needs me. Lin Shun said helplessly, anyway, be more careful. Lin Yen swirled the milk in his cup and said, today's morning news has already come out. Last night, there was a very serious explosion in the direction of Ningbo. Some people saw many corpses and the appearance of special forces. However, the official explanation was that it was an explosion at a chemical plant. It's really ridiculous. It was clearly an abandoned residential area. Lin Muyu smiled and said, the government has to appease people. Otherwise, people will be anxious and no one will be in the mood to do their work. Wouldn't the whole society be in chaos then? Lin Yen glanced at him and said, Brat, your tone is already like that of a superior. I should say a ruler. Speaking of which, what is your position in the Shattered Cauldron realm? Lin Muyu was a bit embarrassed and didn't know what to say. Qin Yin giggled and said, Big brother, Brother Yu is the empire's marshal and controls millions of troops. He was also conferred the title of Qin Wang, which is a noble. King. Lin Yen couldn't help but laugh and said excitedly, Dad, did you hear that? That brat Yu has become a prince. He brought honor to his ancestors. Our Lin family finally has someone who can play with the throne. Lin Shun had a helpless expression and didn't say anything. The Shattered Cauldron realm was too far away for him. His only hope was for his family to be safe and sound, for the Long Xian group to prosper day by day, and for them to live happily ever after. Lin Muyu said, Brother, didn't I tell you? In the world of the Shattered Cauldron realm, Xiao Yin is the empress of the Qin Empire, which is also the monarch. Xiaoxi is a princess. It's like playing house. I don't know if you believe it or not. I believe it. Lin Yen was a gaming maniac and was naturally very interested in this kind of war and killing. He said, if it's true then Xiaoji, you guys, have you really fought in a war before? What do you think? Haha, tell me, what is a real cold weapon war like? You don't want to know. Why? Lin Yen had a puzzled expression. Lin Muyu frowned slightly and said, Brother, it's different from a game. The war I experienced was real. My friends died one by one, some even had their heads chopped off. My army was killed and scattered. No one buried the corpses of the soldiers, they were rotten and swollen. When the city fell, many people's heads were hung on the city walls. I knew many of them. You don't want to know what their eyes looked like when a weapon pierced through their body. You also don't want to know what it feels like to be defeated and helpless. At that time I ate raw bear meat, drank beast blood, slept in pits and slept in the snow. I personally saw the flames of war turn cities into ashes. Brother, you don't say any more. Qin Yin suddenly held his hand. All these years Lin Muyu had suffered too much. Lin Shun was a little dazed as he listened. The oatmeal bread in his hand was in his mouth, but he didn't take a bite. At this moment he finally understood what Lin Muyu had experienced all these years. When he came back to see him, he was just like the sunny youth he used to be. The second son of his had really matured. He had learned to hide himself and also learned to care for his family. Lin Yen was stunned with his mouth wide open. The world of war Lin Muyu described was indeed very different from the game. It was a more bloody world, ruthless and cruel. Looking at his father and brother, Lin Muyu felt a little apologetic and smiled. But we still won in the end. Xiao Yin and Xiaoxi are still by my side. So, no matter how much we suffered, it was worth it. Lin Yen was a little embarrassed and smiled. Xiaoxi, I understand now. You don't have to say any more. Forget it, I'll take you Xiao Yin and Xiaoxi to the bar tonight. Relax a little. Don't be so tense all day. A hopeful look appeared on Qin Yin's face. Tang Xiaoxi bit her red lips. I'm afraid it's not time to relax yet. Last night, there was an energy fluctuation coming from the southeast. Mu and Xiao Yin, didn't you feel it? A god stronger than us has appeared. I know, I've seen him. Lin Muyu said, don't worry, it'll be fine. Let's go relax tonight. It just so happens, you two haven't seen what the entertainment industry on Earth is like. Instantly, Tang Xiaoxi let her guard down and smiled. Okay. Ling Yan immediately took out his phone and scrolled through it looking for something. Brother, what are you doing? Lin Muyu asked. Lin Yan said, I'm looking. Which girl should I bring to the bar tonight? After all, Xiao Yin and Xiaoxi are both great beauties. If I bring a second one, it'll be too embarrassing. Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi couldn't help but laugh and blush. Lin Muyu said, have you found one? Not yet. Lin Yan frowned. I suddenly realized a problem. None of the girlfriends I've dated in the past few years are super beauties. Moreover, they're basically just for the kidneys and not the hearts. Lin Muyu pursed her lips. You rely on sports cars to pick up girls. That's naturally the case. But you can ask Faye, from ZGTV out. She's quite pretty. Okay. Lin Yan's eyes lit up. You have a way. Chapter 1106. At night, Didi Bar started to bustle with people after 10 o'clock. A white Porsche Panamera slowly drove into the bar's reception area. Instantly, a beautiful lady in a bar uniform came over and smiled. Lin Yan, you're here? Lin Yan nodded and smiled. Ali, I have a total of 5 people on my side. My brother and 3 beauties. Have you arranged them for us? Yes. Then get off the car. After getting off the car, Lin Yan handed the car key to a bar waiter. Then he led Lin Muyu, Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi into the bar. Instantly, heavy metal sounds swept over like waves of air. Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi were not used to it. They were used to living in Broken Cauldron World and were used to the tranquility there. Now the sound in the bar could only be described with one word: boredom. However, after getting used to it, it really made people feel relaxed. Lin Yan ordered 2 bottles of expensive liquor. There was no reason for the 2 young masters of Long Exane Group to drink cheap liquor. All kinds of men and women seemed to be in the mood. Many people were already dancing to the music at the edge of the stage. On the stage there was a group of dancers wearing exaggerated clothes. Lin Muyu sat down and smiled. Don't you feel that the clothes of the dancers look like the armor of the armor demon? Both Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi burst into laughter. It was indeed very similar. The armor of an armor demon was only responsible for protecting the joints of its body, so it looked like it was not wearing any armor at all. The dancers on the stage also achieved the same result by different means. Today you don't need to circulate your energy to get rid of the alcohol smell. If you get drunk, then so be it, Lin Muyu said. Qin Yin looked at him gently, then looked at the liquor on the table. This kind of liquor that doesn't even have the smell of alcohol. Can you really get drunk? It has a strong after effect. Just wait and see. Hee okay. Lin Muyu asked again. Big brother, when will Fei Air arrive? Don't worry. She said that she was still streaming an hour ago. He should be here by now. Oh. Just as he finished speaking, a beautiful figure walked in. It was Fei from 2 days ago. However, Fei wasn't wearing her uniform. Instead, she was wearing a white dress that looked like an evening dress. Sorry, I'm late. Fei apologized with a smile. It's good that you know you're late. How about drinking 3 cups of wine as punishment? Lin Yan said. Come on, you haven't even started yet. Hintel. Fei sat down between Lin Muyu and Lin Yan and said, Come, let's have a toast first. All right. After drinking a cup of wine, a strange taste lingered in the throat. Even Lin Muyu felt strange, not to mention Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi. The fragrant Cauldron Realms flower wine was very mellow and delicious. Although it had a higher alcohol content, it wasn't bad. On the other hand, this 20,000 yuan bottle in front of them was really mediocre. Just like that, the music grew louder and the amount of wine they drank increased. After the 5 of them finished 2 bottles of wine, Lin Yan asked for 2 more. This made Lin Muyu feel that she wouldn't be able to go back tonight. Fortunately, she had transferred Gomong back home to protect her father, so she didn't have to worry about any danger. Qin Yin's and Tang Xiaoxi's faces were already pink. They shook the dice to see who was bigger or smaller. Moreover, it was just a dice to see who was bigger or smaller. It was simple violence. Whoever lost would have to drink a cup, but the more they drank, the more they drank. On the other hand, Fei, who was used to this kind of scene, seemed to have drunk too much today. Her face was slightly red as she looked at Lin Yan and then at Lin Muyu. She said, "Today. I'm so happy." "As long as you're happy." Lin Yan said, "If you can't go back today, come to my house. I have a lot of rooms." "It's our first time drinking together. Isn't it inappropriate?" Fei's mouth had a trace of a naughty smile. Lin Yan was speechless. "What are you thinking? My purpose is very simple. If you don't believe me, you can ask Xiaoji." "That's not it." Fei said, "Lin Ji looks much more upright than you." "Really?" Lin Yan squinted his eyes and looked at Lin Muyu's hand. Also looked over and found that Lin Muyu's hand was placed on Qin Yin's snow-white legs. Cough cough. Lin Yan reminded. "Oh. I've been discovered." Lin Muyu smiled awkwardly. She raised her glass and said, "Fei, brother, I'll give you a toast." Fei drank. After finishing the glass, Fei, seemed to be unable to take it anymore. She silently lay on the sofa with her eyes red, but she didn't say anything. "What's wrong, Fei?" Lin Muyu asked. Fei's eyes couldn't help but turn even redder. She suddenly turned around and gently leaned her face on Lin Muyu's shoulder. She still didn't say anything. Lin Yan was dumbfounded. He was the one who invited the girl, but why was she leaning on his brother's shoulder? He felt like a failure. "What's wrong?" Lin Muyu gently patted Fei's shoulder. Her flirting skills were already at the master level. Fei's eyes were red. She raised her head and said, "I really envy you and Lin Yan. The two of you have such a good relationship with each other. You have a good family background and you live a carefree life. Lin also loves you." "How nice. What are you talking about?" Lin Muyu was also dumbfounded. Fei said, "You don't know how much a small streamer like me has suffered." "Then tell us today." "We won't tell anyone," Lin Muyu said. Fei's eyes were covered with tears. She lowered her head and said, "My boss is exploiting me." Lin Yan said, "What's wrong? You want to talk about it? If you really can't do it, you can quit. You can find another company. I can introduce you to GTV or Feng Yun." "I can't. I signed a 10-year contract." Fei pursed her red lips. "I'll continue to commentate Eternal Moon, Spirit of Grief, Heaven Blessed, and Destiny." My boss said, "If Eternal Moon Corporation releases a fourth epic-making MG, I'll have to do it," Fei whimpered. "I'm already in my 30s. He's so inhumane." Although Lin Muyu didn't understand what she meant, she seemed very sad. She lowered her head and said, "Don't cry, don't cry. Life is like this. You just have to endure it." Lin Yan also said, "Alcohol gets into the heart of sorrow, so don't drink too much." Wiped her tears with a napkin and squeezed out a smile. "Sorry, I need to go to the washroom." "I'll go with you." Lin Yan stood up and led Fei through the crowd to the washroom. Lin Muyu turned around and played a few rounds with Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi. They won all of them. "Why aren't they back yet?" Qin Yin glanced in the direction of the washroom. Lin Muyu also frowned. "Yeah, it's been almost 10 minutes. What's going on? Even if they're doing it in the washroom. With Big Bro's ability, it should be over by now." Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi blushed. They both understood. "Tui." Lin Muyu stood up. "Alright, I'll go take a look. You guys have fun. They come back early." And so Lin Muyu walked through the crowd and headed for the washroom. The washroom of this bar was shared by both men and women, and there didn't seem to be many people there. Before Lin Muyu walked in, she could already hear cursing. "What right do you have to say that this girl is yours? She's drunk. You want to take her away? You're dressed well. How can you do such a dirty thing? You even dare to touch my brother Bao's woman." In the corner, a burly man in a t-shirt was holding the unconscious Fei in his arms. He stepped on the abdomen of another person. That person's face was red as if he was beaten. It was Lin Yan. Instantly Lin Muyu was infuriated. She dashed forward and used her right arm to push away the man called Brother Leopard. She then caught Fei, who had slipped out of his arms. Her was already drunk and her face was red. "Xiaoji." Lin Yan climbed up awkwardly. There were 3 young men beside Brother Bao. Each of them had a fierce look on their face. One of them, a young man with short red hair, said in a weird tone, "Yo, another idiot. Do you want to be a hero or a dog eating sh*t? Block the door and don't let anyone in. Beat him up." One of the gangsters went to block the door of the washroom, but the other two rushed over. Lin Muyu raised her palm. She didn't use her divine power. She only used the strength of an ordinary person to fight. Her palm cleverly slapped the two gangsters' cheeks, leaving a burning palm print. Moreover, Lin Muyu's physique was so strong that the two gangsters couldn't stand steadily after 2 slaps. "Brother, who hit you just now?" Lin Muyu asked. "Both." Lin Yan was furious. "I've been in this area for so many years, but I've never seen such a tyrannical person. They directly snatched people. Are they going to King use force?" Brother Bao stood up with a fierce face. "Brothers, let's go together and cripple these two brothers." However, the moment he stepped forward, Lin Muyu directly punched him in the face. His nose immediately became crooked and blood flowed out. Even one of his front teeth fell out. He lay on the ground in a miserable state. Lin Muyu said, "Brother, what are you waiting for? They bullied our Lin family. Bully them back now. You can hit them all you want. Anyway, we're in the right." "Okay." Lin Yan was also ruthless. He raised his hand and pulled down the gooseneck faucet at the side. He slapped Brother Bao a few times in the face. Brother Bao's face was covered in blood. He shouted, "Stop hitting me, stop hitting me. I'm Boss Luo's man from the One Heart Society. Stop hitting me or else you'll have to bear the consequences. You're still hitting me." Lin Yan slapped Brother Bao so hard that another tooth flew out. "You still dare to threaten us?" At this moment Lin Muyu was punched in the back. It was the young man who was in charge of guarding the door. However, it only caused Lin Muyu's body to tremble slightly. The young man's fist was numb from the impact. His face was full of horror. Lin Muyu turned around and looked at him. She dragged her voice and said, "And scram." The gangster ran away quickly. Only Brother Bao and the other 2 gangsters were left lying on the ground, screaming in pain. One of the gangsters' gold chain was even broken. However, the Lin brothers didn't care about this at all. At most, they would have to pay for it. At this moment, Fei sobered up a little. She looked at the scary bathroom with her drunken eyes. What happened? Nothing, a small situation. Soon, the bar's security arrived. 7 or 8 people surrounded the place. Even the bar staff called Ailey came. She said in surprise, "What happened?" "Someone called the police just now," Lin Yan said. "You saw it too. There was a fight." "Of course I saw it. Why did you guys fight with Brother Bao?" When Lin Muyu heard her words, she felt that something was wrong. This Brother Bao must have a powerful background. Soon the police car arrived. A few policemen came in and took away Lin Muyu, Lin Yan, Brother Bao and the other people involved. Lin Muyu didn't resist. If they were taken away, then let them be. What a painful realization. Today she finally had the feeling of being a playboy. Although she was going to be taken to the police station soon, it felt pretty good.